close your eyes or let them gently flutter shut as you settle into the soft glow of your screen. Imagine the world of Pokémon unfolding like a dreamscape under a starry Paldean sky, where ancient legends whisper secrets through the wind-swept ruins and the thrill of battle echoes faintly in the distance. Welcome to Pokémon in 2026, a serene journey where we reflect on the electric pulse of 2025, peer into the shimmering horizon of the year ahead, and immerse ourselves in the timeless lore that binds this universe together. This is your 2-hour sanctuary, a review of triumphs past, predictions for battles yet to come, and tales spun for sleep, designed to carry you gently into dreams filled with roaring dragons, shimmering mythicals, and the unbreakable bonds between trainer and Pokémon. Breathe in deeply now. Feel the rhythm of your breath syncing with the heartbeat of the Pokémon world. 2025 was a year that pulsed with unyielding energy, a testament to the franchise's enduring magic. Picture the grand arenas of the Pokémon World Championships, held from August 15th to 17th in a spectacle of strategy and spectacle. Thousands converged, controllers in hand, hearts racing as the finest minds clashed in Scarlet and Violet's vibrant battlegrounds. Before that, the North America International Championships lit up the summer from June 13th to 15th, a prelude to glory where regional heroes rose and fell under the watchful eyes of champions. Spring and early summer brimmed with regional showdowns, events that dotted the calendar like stepping stones across an ocean of competition, forging paths to the world's stage. But it wasn't just the pros who felt the fire. In the palm of everyday trainers' hands, Scarlet and Violet continued to thrive with relentless tier raid battles, those explosive encounters where terastallized titans shattered the sky in bursts of prismatic power. Ranked battles flowed through Season 32 and beyond, seasonal content keeping the meta alive, evolving with each patch like Pokémon, adapting to new environments. And oh, Pokémon Go, that pocket-sized universe, exploded with wonder. Fashion Week strutted its stylish parade. Festival of Colours painted the world in vibrant chaos. Festival of Lights twinkled through the night like wandering luminous Pokémon. Community days fostered friendships in real-world parks, raids pulled strangers into alliances, and the year closed on a festive note with Winter Holiday, Part 1 from December 18th to 24th, snowflakes dancing with festive Joltik and festive legendaries, wrapping 2025 in a bow of joyful chaos. Yet beneath these events, the true soul of Pokémon stirs, the lore that dreams are made of. In Paldea's sun-kissed lands from Scarlet and Violet, we walked paths scarred by time, uncovering the ancient paradox of past and future. Professor Sada and Turo, visions of ambition unbound, unlocked the secrets of time itself through the shimmering gates of Area Zero. Koraidon and Miraidon, those majestic paradox Pokémon, rode the winds of history, their roars echoing the clash between progress and preservation. The treasures of ruin, Woqian, Qianpao, Tinglu, Qiyu, guarded forgotten sins of old kings, their stone tablets whispering of hubris that toppled empires, and Petulant, the mythical poison Pecha from the Teal Mask and Indigo Disc epilogue, wove its threads of forbidden emotion, binding fates in the land of Kitakami's misty festivals. This lore isn't mere backstory, it's the river that feeds every event, every battle. Those fateful encounters distributed through raids and events, they're threads in the grand tapestry, Pokémon with natures attuned to destiny, carrying marks of legends like badges of prophecy. Remember the distributions tied to mythicals, their backstories blooming like hidden evolutions. The graceful dance of Meloetta's song, the vengeful storm of Enamorus, each one a chapter in the world's eternal saga. Now as 2025 fades into memory like a defeated foe's shadow, let's turn our gaze to 2026, a year brimming with promise, a canvas for new legends to etch their marks. The regional championships ignite early, flames of competition spreading worldwide, January 24th to 25th in Mérida, Mexico, where Latin heat meets tactical fire. February 7th to 8th brings dual fury, Sydney, Australia, under southern stars, and Santiago, Chile, amid Andean echoes. Toronto hosts from January 16th to 18th Canada's chill-sharpening strategies like a Frostlass's icy blade. Then the US circuit surges, Seattle February 27th to March 1st, rain-slicked battles in the Pacific Northwest, Houston March 20th to 22nd, Texas-sized showdowns, Orlando April 3rd to 5th, magic in the air like a Gardevoir's psychic veil, Los Angeles May 8th to 10th, Hollywood glamour on Pokémon showdowns, Indianapolis May 29th to 31st, Heartland heart pounding to the worlds, and the pinnacle, Pokémon World Championships 2026, August 28th to 30th, a coliseum of dreams where the globe's elite converge. Who will claim the crown? Will Scarlet and Violet's meta shift with new DLC whispers or balance patches? Pokémon. Go teases more seasons of splendor. Imagine Go Fests under summer suns, mega evolutions unbound, perhaps even crossovers with Paldea's stars roaming your neighborhood. But predictions are mere sparks. The future's fire lies in how it intertwines with lore. What if 2026 unveils teases of Generation 10, whispers of new regions, maybe the feudal echoes of Kitakami expanding into ancient Japan-inspired realms, or uncharted seas where the Loyal Three's descendants guard oceanic myths. Legendary encounters could delve deeper. Terrapagos, the turtle at Area Zero's heart, holder of infinite potential, its crystalline shell cracking open possibilities for time-warping narratives, or revivals of forgotten tales like the Sinnoh myths of creation, tying back to Arceus's gaze upon our competitive chaos. This video is your portal. We'll revisit 2025's highlights in soothing detail, each event a lullaby of triumphs. We'll forecast 2026's battles, painting vivid pictures to fuel your anticipation. And woven throughout, the lore for sleep, narratives from every generation, from Kanto's elemental gods to Galar's darkest day cataclysm, Paldea's stellar paradoxes, all retold in whispers that cradle your mind. No rush, no hype, just 13 chapters of pure immersion, roughly 2 hours to lose yourself in Pokémon's embrace. Whether you're drifting off tonight, background ambience for study, or a deep dive for the die-hard fan, let this be your companion. Dim the lights, adjust your pillow, and step with me into the world where every Pokémon has a story, every battle a heartbeat, and every dream a legendary waiting to awaken. Relax and begin. In 2025, the Pokémon World Championships exploded into life in Honolulu, Hawaii, from August 15 to 17, drawing over 10,000 trainers to the Aloha State's sun-drenched arenas. You could feel the electricity in the air, that raw pulse of global ambition, as players from Japan, Europe, North America, and beyond clashed in video games, trading cards, and Pokémon Go showdowns. What made this year stand out was not just the scale, but the rivalries that simmered like hidden magma beneath the island's calm surface. Veterans who dominated previous seasons faced off against rising prodigies, each match a symphony of strategy and sheer willpower. Picture the TCG finals, where decks built around ancient guardians like Mewtwo and Rayquaza traded blows in a dance of calculated risks, crowning a new master from the Americas who outmaneuvered a Japanese powerhouse in the final turn. In the video game division, Scarlet and Violet Masters unleashed terror-stylized assaults that left crowds roaring, with one underdog from Brazil upsetting the favourites using a meticulously bred Dragapult. These weren't just wins, they were triumphs etched into Pokémon history, fueling dreams for every trainer watching at home. You know that feeling, don't you, when your own team finally syncs up perfectly after hours of grinding? Multiply it by a stadium's worth of passion, and you have Worlds 2025, but the rivalries went deeper than brackets. Whispers circulated of a heated feud between two top VGC players, one favouring hyper-offensive Sun teams with Venusaur at the helm, the other countering with rain-drenched Kingdra sweeps. Their semi-final clash lasted over an hour, each predicting the other's every switch until a daring choice scarf Garchomp sealed the upset. Crowds chanted names that echoed across social media for weeks. And in Pokémon Go, the Stakes Park battles turned city streets into war zones, with Master League aces deploying legendaries like Dialga and Palkia in ways that redefined meta counters. New champions emerged not just skilled, but transformed, carrying the weight of their victories like badges of an ancient order. Honolulu's vibrant backdrop amplified it all. Palm trees swaying as fireworks lit the night sky after the awards ceremony. This was Pokémon at its peak, a year where global passion ignited, proving once again why this franchise binds us across oceans and time zones. Shifting from the roar of crowds to the quiet thrill of discovery, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet kept Paldea's mysteries alive through evolving Terra Raid battles. Throughout 2025, these events pulsed with fresh intensity, especially in Ranked Battles Season 32, where terrestrialization mechanics reached new heights. You dove into raids against shimmering Terra types that hadn't been seen before, like a ghost terrestrialized Iron Valiant emerging from Area Zero's depths, its blades humming with paradox energy. Each raid unveiled fragments of Paldea's hidden lore, treasures long buried in the region's ancient ruins. Remember the lore of the Great Crater? It ties directly to these battles, where Professor Sada and Turo's experiments awakened forces that trainers now harness. Raids dropped clues about the treasures of ruin: Wochien, Qianpao, Tinglu, and Chiyu, revealing how they once guarded Paldea's zero-point energy, a power that could rewrite reality itself. What hidden lore surfaced in 2025? Special Terra raids featured Koraidon and Miraidon in their ancient forms, hinting at a time before the Paradox Rift tore open. Players reported raid dialogues echoing forgotten legends. The future coils around the past, and only the worthy may grasp its scales. These weren't random events, they built on Scarlet and Violet's core narrative, where the world's edges frayed to expose infinite possibilities. You teamed up online with strangers, turned allies, coordinating hyper-trainings and EV spreads to topple 5-star behemoths. One raid cycle spotlighted Ogerpon, its masks cracking to reveal lore about Kitakami's ogre festivals, linking back to Paldea's festival traditions. Another unveiled Petrovant's toxic peaches as keys to the Loyal Three's betrayal, deepening the Unova Paldea connections. By year's end, these evolutions transformed Terra raids from grindy chores into lore-rich quests, rewarding you with held items that pulsed with story potential, like leftovers infused with Area Zero crystals. It's as if Game Freak was whispering, "Dig deeper, trainer. The treasures are yours to claim." And oh, the surprises kept coming. Seasonal updates layered on new raid bosses, such as a steel terrestrialized Archaludon, whose defeat unlocked flavor text about Regidrago's draconic lineage, suggesting Paldea's ruins hid dragon relics predating even Unova's pillars. You felt that rush, didn't you? Sinking your Sprigatito line evolutions into Meowscarada raids, uncovering how grassy terrains once shielded ancient kings from terrestrial storms. These moments wove gameplay into Paldea's tapestry, where every victory peeled back layers of history, from the kings who tamed paradox beasts to the professors who paid the ultimate price. 2025's Terra Raid evolutions weren't just content drops, they were revelations, making you question, what other secrets lurk in those glowing crystals? Meanwhile, Pokémon Go turned the real world into a canvas of wonder, with its festivals, painting communities in vibrant colours from spring through winter. Festival of Colours? kicked off the year in March, blanketing parks with Holi-inspired splashes as trainers hunted Sinnoh starters and regional variants. You joined hordes chasing shiny Jirachi during its brief shine window, the air buzzing with laughter and Pokeballs flying. Then came Festival of Lights in October, lanterns floating as ghost types like Giratina swarmed raids, hinting at legendary awakenings tied to Hisui's fractured dimensions. Fashion Week strutted in September, Galarian Meowth parading with stylish flair, but beneath the glamour lurked lore nods to Kalus's elegant tyrants. These events weren't isolated, they chained together like a global tapestry. Winter Holiday. Part 1, December 18th to 24, snowed in ice types and Galarian Mr. Mime, with raid passes glowing under northern lights. Each festival whispered of bigger things, legendary awakenings on the horizon. During the Festival of Colours, increased spawns of Tapu Koko sparked theories of Alolan Guardians stirring, their electric auras mirroring Honolulu's world's energy. You powered up your own legendaries, feeling the pull of destinies unfolding. Community Day classics evolved too, with Rowlet and Litten mega evolving in spotlight hours, their lore tying to Akala's fiery trials. What made 2025 magical was how these painted the world vivid, streets alive with Pikachu hordes during community festivals, skies filled with Rayquaza raids during Go Tour, and beaches teeming with Wilma pods hinting at Kyogre's deep-sea slumbers. Dive deeper, and the hints piled up. Festival of Lights featured Spiritomb keystones that, when cracked, released flavor text about the distortion world, priming players for Giratina returns. You traded encounters, shared strategies in Discord raids, building bonds as real as any Pokémon friendship. By December, GoFest iterations across Lima, New York, and London culminated in global challenges, unlocking Regieleki, whose electric coils echoed Paldea's terrestrial storms. These vibrant spectacles didn't just entertain, they awakened something primal. Legends stirring in code and code alone. Imagine your phone vibrating at midnight with a raid invite for a shadowed Mewtwo, its psychic hum promising Psyduck-level mind games. Yet 2025's echoes extended beyond these highlights. North America Internationals in June tested the continent's best, a prelude to Worlds where US hopefuls honed teams in Dallas heat. Regionals dotted the calendar, spring events in Europe and Asia weeding out the week. TCG expansions like Prismatic Evolutions fueled deck innovations, with Terrapagus X mirroring Scarlet and Violet's lore. You collected those cards, didn't you? Feeling the pull of Stellar Terra orbs in foil glory. Mobile spin-offs like Masters, EX synced with raids, pitting champions against raid bosses in crossover dreams. What ties it all? A year of triumphs building toward 2026's Inferno. These echoes, rivalries crowned in Honolulu, Paldea's treasures unearthed, Go's colours heralding legends, set the stage for unprecedented heights. You sense it, the momentum coiling like a dragonite's wings. Trainers worldwide grew stronger, lore deeper, passions fiercer. 2025 wasn't an end, it was the spark. But to capture the heart-pounding core of those Honolulu nights, the rivalries that defined eras, join me next in Chapter 2, Worlds 2025, where we'll relive the crowning moments that still echo today. From the electric rivalries that lit up Honolulu in those early echoes of 2025, the true heart of the year's competitive fire beat loudest at the Pokémon World Championships, held from August 15 to 17. Over 3 blistering days, trainers from every corner of the globe clashed in a coliseum of strategy and sheer willpower, where battles didn't just decide winners, they reshaped the entire competitive landscape. You know that feeling when a single move turns the tide? Multiply it by thousands, and you've got Worlds 2025. But let's rewind just a bit, because none of this exploded out of nowhere. Back in June, from the 13th to the 15th, the North America International Championships set the stage like a prelude to thunder. Held in a massive venue, buzzing with anticipation, this event threw everyone for a loop with its unexpected format twists. Organisers dropped a bombshell: hybrid rules blending traditional Swiss rounds with sudden death playoffs, forcing trainers to adapt on the fly. No more coasting through safe matchups. Every set demanded hyper-flexible teams that could pivot from stall-heavy defences to aggressive sweepers in seconds. You could hear the murmurs in the crowd as top seeds stumbled early, caught off guard by these shifts. One twist in particular? Mandatory Terror type reveals mid-battle after the first turn, stripping away the element of surprise that defined Scarlet and Violet metas up to that point. It was chaos, pure and brilliant, weeding out rigid players and elevating those with raw ingenuity. Take Alex from Canada, a relative unknown who'd scraped by regionals on grit alone. In the NA semis, he faced off against a defending champ running a textbook Dragapult core, the kind that had crushed fields for months. But with the new reveal rules, Alex baited a Terror shift into fire, then countered with a pristine Iron Valiant terastallized to Fairy, landing a moonblast that echoed through the arena like fate itself intervening. That upset didn't just knock out a favourite, it signalled to the world that old metas were crumbling. By the finals, NA crowned its champion amid roars, but the real winner was the format itself, priming trainers for Worlds by proving adaptability trumped raw power. Worlds loomed just 2 months later, and every pro was dissecting those twists, rebuilding decks overnight. Fast forward to August 15th, day one of Worlds, in Honolulu's sun-drenched stadium. The air hummed with tropical heat and the sharp tang of strategy unfolding. Over 2 Saruiru trainers qualified, but only the sharpest survived the opening Swiss rounds. What emerged were meta-shifting strategies that no one saw coming. Forget the predictable Landorus Therian leads that dominated prior years. This World's birthed the Echo Swarm, teams built around synchronized Indeedee and Armor Rouge pairings that manipulated psychic terrain to amplify boosts across the board. You'd watch a match, heart pounding, as one player sets up terrain, the other chains, expanding force into a devastating Moonblast barrage. It flipped the script on speed control. Suddenly slower, bulky Mons became untouchable walls. Day 2 ramped it up with the top cuts, where underdog victories stole the spotlight. Picture this: 16-year-old Mia from Brazil, qualifier by the skin of her teeth, staring down the undefeated European powerhouse in the round of 16. Her opponent unleashed a full-odds, shiny Baxalotl, a beast tailored for stall breaking, with flawless IVs and a choice scarf. Everyone expected a sweep. But Mia, calm as a sleeping Snorlax, revealed her ace, a Ditto holding a dubious orb, perfectly mirrored to copy the Baxalotl's set down to the Terror type. The crowd gasped as Ditto terror-stalled into water, outpacing and ochkoing its own reflection with a copied liquidation. It was poetic, a mirror match turned existential crisis. Mia advanced, whispering to her team like they were old friends, proving Heart could crack open any fortress. These weren't flukes. Across the brackets, underdogs rose on waves of innovation. In the TCG side, because Worlds weaves video games with cards seamlessly, a quiet Japanese player named Kato pulled off the upset of the decade. Facing a Rampardos X deck that had steamrolled qualifiers, Kato's ancient Mew VMAX build twisted the meta with energy acceleration via Professor's research spliced into fateful encounters from event distributions. His deck drew from those special, legendary Pokémon handouts tied to World's hype, like the mythical Celebi with its perfect nature, evoking time-bending myths. One turn, Celebi loops back energy, fueling a VMAX that heals through the opponent's assaults. Kaito took it 2-1, his victory speech humble. The legends chose me. You felt it, didn't you? That surge of possibility, where the underdog's triumph rewrites destinies. Day 3, August 17th, Finals Day, crystallized it all. The championship match pitted North America's Alex, yes, the NA survivor, against Japan's veteran strategist, Hiroshi. Stadium screens flickered with stats, but the real drama pulsed in every command. Hiroshi opened with a meta-defining iron boulder, its quark drive revving under electric terrain for blistering speeds. Alex countered boldly with a Tinkerton hammer drop setup, but Hiroshi's strategy shifted mid-game. A pivot to King Gambit with Supreme Overlord, snowballing damage as fainted allies fueled its blade. Tension built like a storm, Alex down to his last Pokémon, a battered Meowscarada. Then the meta shift payoff. Meowscarada terror stalls to fighting, its flower trick ignoring boosts to chip relentlessly. Hiroshi's King Gambit falls. Alex seals it with a critical U-turn, swapping into Revenge Killer Dragapult. Champion crowned, but the strategy lived on, forcing global teams to incorporate terror pivots as standard. What elevated Worlds 2025 beyond brackets was how legendary Pokémon distributions wove champions into the fabric of ancient myths. Throughout the event, official booths handed out event legendaries, not just as prizes, but as echoes of fateful encounters from Pokémon lore. Picture claiming a Zatian with a destined crowned sword nature, its item locked as rusted sword, mirroring the hero's blade from Galar's legends. Organisers tied these to World's victors. Alex received a gleaming Calyrex Shadow Rider, its spectral steed evoking the ghostly kings of Crown Tundra, who forged pacts in eternal night. These weren't random. Each carried ribbons denoting fateful encounter, pulling from Scarlet and Violet's own Area Zero myths, where paradox forms birthed impossible alliances. You see the thread? In Paldean lore, ancient kings tamed legendaries, through trials mirroring these battles, underdogs facing titan trials, strategies born from starry prophecies. Mia, our Brazilian phenom, got a Koraidon with intense nature, its orichalcum pulse activating like the roaring sun of Paldea's creator myths. Holders felt it personally, as if the Pokémon chose them, whispering of destinies intertwined. Post-Worlds data showed these distributions spiking shiny hunts by 300%, trainers chasing that mythical bond. Hiroshi himself distributed Zarude, the rogue monkey from shadowy jungles, its lore of lost tribes paralleling his own journey from overlooked rookie to legend. Dive deeper into those battles that shaped destiny, and you'll find stories that linger. Consider the doubles showcase on day 1, where a European duo unveiled the mythic Cascade, chaining Miraidon and Iron Leaves in a quantum loop of Volt Switch and Psyblade. Opponents crumbled under infinite recoil damage, a strategy so potent it banned elements in future regs. Or the VGC Finals qualifier, where an Australian underdog named Riley upset with a mono-ground squad led by Great Tusk. Paradox roar echoing Paldea's prehistoric rifts. Riley's Tusk shrugged off Water Terror attempts, roaring to force switches until the foe's momentum shattered. Commentators called it Destiny's Stampede, and Riley's win tied directly to his event, Groudon distribution, that primal beast whose plate-shifting myths prefigured terrain control. These moments weren't isolated, they cascaded. NA's format twists trained the field for Worlds chaos, birthing strategies that underdogs exploited. One viral clip, a kid from Mexico using NA-honed reveal counters to bait World's top 8 into misplays. His Ogerpon Wellspring mask terror stalling to dismantle stall cores. Upsets like his fueled fan theories. Were these fateful legendaries influencing outcomes? Lore ties strengthened it. Distributions featured Enamorus, the love winds from Hisui, with nature's boosting affection in doubles, as if Paldea's society quests came alive. By event's end, Worlds 2025 had logged over 50 Suwo Ero matches, crowning not just champs, but a new era. Alex's VGC title, Kato's TCG Glory, Mia's Rising Star, all underscored by those mythical handouts. Trainers left Honolulu changed, decks revolutionized, metas reborn. You can still feel the aftershocks in ranked battles today, where Echo swarms and Terra pivots rule. But what sealed the year's legacy? How these battles echoed Pokemon's deepest lore, binding human triumph to legendary fates. And as those echoes fade, the story pulls you toward the heart of it all in Scarlet and Violet, where Terra raids and ancient treasures await untold secrets. What hidden powers lurk in Paldea's depths? Ready to redefine your own destiny? As the echoes of Worlds 2025 fade from Honolulu's arenas, trainers worldwide turn their eyes back to Paldea, where Ranked Battles Season 32 ignited a firestorm of innovation straight from the heart of Scarlet and Violet. This season didn't just tweak the meta, it plunged players into mechanics that mirrored the twisted paradoxes lurking in Area Zero, forcing you to adapt or get crushed by echoes of time itself. Picture yourself queuing up for your first ladder climb in Season 32. The rule set demanded precision like never before, with restrictions that echoed the ancient and future beasts Professor Sada and Turo obsessed over. You couldn't just spam your favourites anymore. Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon, those elusive paradox powerhouses, shaped the bans and limits, pushing teams toward hyper-specific synergies. Remember how Walking Wake dominated early ladders? Its Water Dragon typing, pulled straight from prehistoric depths, countered the fire-heavy spam from prior seasons. But trainers who thrived flipped the script, building around Screamtail's fairy psychic whimsy to dismantle those watery threats. What made Season 32 unforgettable was how it rewarded foresight. You'd scout opponents' replays, spotting their reliance on past paradoxes like Sandy Shocks, then pivot to future forms like Iron Boulder for that rock poison edge. One ladder-topping team I analysed ran a core of Dragapult, Meowscarada, and Okidogi, weaving Terrablast surprises that turned stalemates into blowouts. By mid-season, the leaderboards overflowed with 1,800+ ratings, where every switch felt like dodging a temporal rift. But here's what truly sets Season 32 apart. It wasn't content to mimic paradoxes in battle rules alone. The developers wove them into the very fabric of competitive play, introducing boosted encounter rates for paradox hunts during peak hours. You'd grind Area Zero after a tough loss, snagging a shiny Great Tusk under the crater's eerie glow, its armoured form a perfect revenge killer for your squad. Trainers whispered about hidden rewards like rare Terra shards that only dropped from paradox raids during the season. Did you catch that mass outbreak of Brute Bonnet? It swept through Paldea's grasslands, yielding perfect IV spreads that skyrocketed teams to regional contention. Season 32 bridged the gap between casual hunts and pro circuits, making every player feel like they were uncovering Sada's lost archives or Turo's futuristic blueprints. Shifting gears to the Terra raids, these weren't your standard Black Crystal grinds. Season 32's climaxes summoned paradox forms in ways that peeled back Area Zero's forbidden veil, drop by drop. Imagine staring down a 7-star Roaring Moon, its Dark Dragon Fury amplified by a stellar Terra type, forcing your squad to cycle through shields while its Dragon Tail flung allies across the arena. These events peaked weekly, with announcements hitting the Scarlet and Violet Pokédex app like thunderclaps. One raid chain spotlighted Iron Hands, the electric fighting behemoth from tomorrow's timeline, whose Drain Punch healed through your best efforts until you cracked its Terra Sterilization with targeted fairy moves. Rewards? Not just herbs and abilities, but lore-laden items, paradox scales that boosted held item effects, hinting at experiments gone wrong in the Zero Lab. You felt the weight of discovery in every victory screen. Clear a Terra climax, and you'd unlock flavor text fragments about the Professor's downfalls. Sada's voice logs crackled through your speakers, her her passion for ancient Pokémon twisting into mania as she chased immortality through time. Turo's counterpart mirrored the tragedy, his future visions blinding him to the human cost. These raids weren't filler, they were narrative bombshells, connecting your raid clears to the duo's legacies. One player-shared clip went viral, a flawless 7-star clear of Walking Wake, where the post-battle animation lingered on a shattered time gear, whispering of Area Zero's core instability. By season's end, over 1 million trainers had participated, unearthing secrets that tied player journeys to the Professor's ghosts. Your own saves probably overflowed with paradox catches, each one a thread in Paldea's unravelling tapestry. Let's dive deeper into how these mechanics reshaped the ladder. Early Season 32 saw a surge in stall teams abusing Clodsires unaware to ignore setup sweeps from Paradox sweepers. But savvy players countered with Tinkerton's Gigaton Hammer, a steel fairy nuke that one-shot through regenerator walls. Take the EU ladder dominator, a trainer named Paradox Hunter 42, who climbed to 2000 elo with a squad blending Sada's Ancients and Turo's Futures. Great Tusk led with Headlong Rush, backed by Iron Valiant's Moonblast for coverage. Losses taught brutal lessons. I'd watch replays where a misplayed Terror on Raging Bolt handed games away. Its electric Dragon Storm, overwhelming unprepared foes. The season's patch notes even teased future-proofing, with balance tweaks ensuring no single paradox ran rampant, echoing the game's theme of temporal equilibrium. Terror raid climaxes ramped up the spectacle. February's event pulled Iron Treads into the spotlight, its ground steel frame shrugging off earthquake spam, while close combat chipped away at your health. Beat it, and you'd snag a Master Ball, perfect for that elusive Miraidon or Corridon ride. These weren't random, they followed a storyline arc. March summoned Sandy Shocks, electric ground from the past, its 1,000 arrows grounding Levitate users mid-raid. Lore drops revealed Sada's final transmission. The Ancients hold the key to eternity, but at what price? Players pieced it together, theorizing Area Zero's paradoxes as bleed-throughs from clashing eras. April flipped to future forms, with Iron Crown's psychic steel precision demanding perfect coordination. Your raid group's Discord lit up with strats. Ice Beam first, then Dazzling Gleam cycle. Clear rates hovered at 40%, turning each attempt into a saga of trial and error. Narrative threads pulled it all together, binding your battles to the Professor's shadows. Every ranked win or raid triumph advanced a hidden progress bar in your profile, unlocking Blueberry Academy cameos where AI Sada and Turo reflected on their hubris. You tread where we fell, one log intoned, as footage of crumbling Zero Lab played out. Trainers shared theories. Were these events priming for DLC epilogues? Season 32's finale raid, a dual Sada Turo paradox mashup, with Miraidon and Corridon shadows, dropped the bombshell. Defeat it, and screens filled with visions of Area Zero's heart. A swirling vortex where past and future collided, birthing new paradoxes. Your journey wasn't solo, it wove into legacies of obsession and loss, making every ladder grind feel epic. But why did Season 32 resonate so deeply? It humanized the grind. You'd queue after Worlds qualifiers, replaying North America International's highlights where similar paradox cores shone. A US regional hopeful told me, Sada's Slitherwing carried my team through Seattle's cut. These mechanics echoed real-world rivalries, with Japanese ladders favouring hyper-offense Iron Valiant spam, while EU leaned defensive Screamtail cores. Global leaderboards told stories. Top 100 averages hit 1950 elo, with 60% running at least 2 paradoxes. Stats from Poke API breakdowns showed Terra Blast usage spiking 35%, a direct nod to raid synergies. As spring bloomed into 2026 regionals, Scarlet and Violet's momentum carried over. Trainers prepped for Merida's January event by farming Season 32 leftovers, those paradox scales boosting speed are fools for clutch ladders. Houston's March showdowns saw Scarlet Violet vets dominate VGC, their Terror Raid-honed instincts outpacing newcomers. Even Worlds 2026 loomed with Paldean flavors, whispers of regulation sets incorporating Season 32 bans. Yet beneath the battles lay Paldea's soul-stirring lore. Area Zero wasn't just a crater, it was a scar on time, where Sada's ancient fixation birthed roaring titans, and Turo's future dreams spawned iron juggernauts. Their tragic arcs, Sada's descent into isolation, mirroring her prehistoric idol's ferocity, Turo's cold logic fracturing under infinite possibilities, mirrored your own climbs. Failed raids echoed their experiments' failures, victories their fleeting triumphs. Players role-played it out, nicknaming catches Sada's curse, or Turo's echo, turning data into dynasty. Expand on a single raid for a moment. That 7-star Iron Bundle showdown? Its Icewater Wrath froze teams solid until you layered Fire Terror on Cinderace for melt-throughs. Post-clear, a cutscene faded in, Turo's hologram flickering, the future arrives unbidden. It hit different after grinding Season 32 ladders, where bundle mirrors walled fairy spam. These moments blurred game and story, making you ponder, what if your next catch rewrote history? Season 32's innovations set precedents. Mechanics like paradox-boosted accuracy during Sandstorm echoed Area Zero's weather anomalies, prepping for potential 2026 updates. Rumours swirled of the Eternal Strife expansion, tying raids to open-world quests, retracing the Professor's paths. Your saved teams, battle-worn from Season 32, stood ready. You've climbed those ladders, shattered those crystals, and glimpsed the voids. But as Paldea's secrets simmer toward 2026's horizons, the mobile frontier beckons with its own wild evolutions. Up next, Pokémon Go unfolds its augmented adventures, where real-world hunts chase digital legends in ways that'll redefine your every step. In 2025, Pokémon Go shattered records with over 1 billion active players worldwide, turning every sidewalk and park into a living battlefield of wonder. You stepped out your door, phone in hand, and the world became your Pokéball, where real-life wanderings collided with digital myths in ways that Scarlet and Violet's virtual Paldea could only dream of echoing. Those Terror Raid secrets from Area Zero? They pulsed through Go's veins too, as events pulled legendary lore right into your neighborhood, blending the console's epic tales with the raw thrill of hunting shinies under streetlights. Shift after battling Paradox Pokémon in your living room, you laced up your shoes for Fashion Week, starting September 3rd. It wasn't just clothes on display in New York or Paris, no. Niantic draped the globe in Pokémon flair, spawning elegant creatures like Furfrou in its rare trims, and Sawsbuck in seasonal forms that match the autumn leaves. You chased Galarian Meowth through fashion districts, its coin-tossing luck mirroring the high-stakes bets of runway shows. But here's what hooked you deepest. The event fused real-world exploration with mythical elegance. Debuting costumed Pokémon, like Vivillon's monsoon pattern, it celebrated patterns inspired by global cultures, from kimonos to tartans. You traded postcards, spun stops at pop-up boutiques, and felt that wanderlust pull you blocks away for a perfect IV dealing. Players reported encounters with Unone, spelling out fashion, a nod to ancient scripts hiding in plain sight. Did you catch that one? It sparked theories tying back to Unova's relics, where words shaped reality. Fashion Week wasn't filler, it was a gateway, urging you to roam further, blending haute couture with Pokédex hunts that left your steps counter-exploding. That momentum carried straight into the Festival of Colours, October 1st through 7th, where Holy's vibrant powders exploded across Go's map, like a living rainbow. You know the rush, tossing virtual colours at friends, while Sableye and Spritzy danced in increased spawns, their hues shifting, like festival fireworks. This wasn't random chaos, It wove mythical flair into your daily grind. Debuting costumed Deden and Mime Jr. Electric rodents and clowns prancing through incense clouds. Real-world exploration hit peak joy as community days overlapped, with fledgling flocks migrating to your local park, evolving into fiery Talonflame under a dyed sky. You felt the cultural heartbeat, didn't you? Indian-inspired patterns on Vivillon, African motifs on Butterfree, each shiny chance a brushstroke on your adventure canvas. Players in Mumbai synced raids with actual holy dances, syncing AR photos that trended worldwide. The lore deepened it. These colours echoed the life-bringing powers of legendary birds, Articuno's icy blues to Moltres' fiery reds, hinting at creation myths, where palettes birthed worlds. You walked miles heart racing for that 100% Pancham, and suddenly your city felt enchanted, every corner a myth reborn. But the real shadows stirred with the Festival of Lights, November 5th to 12th, Diwali's glow summoning Unova's spectral underbelly. You lit virtual lamps at Pokestops, and out crept Yamask, Litwick, and Cophagregus, ghosts drawn from the distortion world, like lampant wicks flickering in the dark. This event illuminated shadowy legendaries, pulling straight from Unova's haunted lore. Remember the games? Black and White's plasma schemes, N's tormented ideals, the ghost types haunting Opelucid City's ruins. Go brought it home, debuting shiny Hisuian Zoroark at night, its illusory tricks fooling your AR camera into phantom battles. You raided Spiritomb, that forbidden mon with 108 spirits, each light festival spin unlocking wild encounters that whispered of ancient pacts. Players in cities like Delhi or San Francisco formed lantern-lit parties, trading shadow balls under Diwali fireworks. The flair was mythical, all right. Shadowy legendaries like Darkrai teased in research, their nightmare dreams invading your sleepiest hunts. You questioned it then. Why now? It foreshadowed Unova remakes, perhaps, with Go as the bridge, turning your evening jog into a spectral pilgrimage. One raid boss, Chandelure, burned so bright it glitched maps, spawning lampents that followed you home, a digital haunt that felt too real. As winter nipped at heels, Winter Holiday, Part 1, December 18th to 24th, wrapped it all in festive bows, gifting encounters that teased evolutions to come. You bundled up for Bergmite swarms and Swinub herds, sliding through snow biomes, but the stars were Galarian Darumaka and Bergmitis in holiday hats, their red noses glowing like Rudolph's. This wasn't mere cheer, it foreshadowed holiday-themed evolutions, like ice types cracking into new forms, echoing Paldea's blizzards. Raid bosses dropped Bergmite chains, leading to Avalug's icy maw, while community gifts overflowed with evolution items. You felt the magic, exchanging presents at friends lists bursting with 100-player lobbies, Bergmite hatches syncing with Christmas lights. Lore-wise, it tied to Kalus's holiday myths, where Abomasnow guarded eternal winters, hinting at mega evolutions returning in 2026. Players worldwide shared stories of perfect IV Snova under Northern Lights, the event's 12-kilometer egg pool, hatching holiday, surprises like Swinub, shiny rates doubling. It built hype, didn't it? That final raid hour on Christmas Eve, Cramorant gulping berries mid-battle, promising Part 2's deeper gifts. These events didn't stand alone. They chained into Go's 2025 ecosystem, where max battles evolved from Scarlet's Tira vibes, letting you Mega Rayquaza in parks with buddies syncing attacks. You grinded for XL Candy during Go Tour, but 2025's Go Fest in global cities like Tokyo shattered attendance, with Mewtwo raids echoing Unova's regrets. Shiny rates climbed, legendaries like Enamorus debuted in elite raids, her love winds blowing through Master Leagues. Community days spotlighted Palmy and Tinkertink, evolving into electric mice and hammer fairies that dominated PvP cups, and the lore, it seeped everywhere. Fashion Week's patterns recalled Sinnoh's creation trio. Festival of Colours evoked Hoenn's Weatherlords. Lights delved Unova's shadows. Holidays nodded to Gala's crown tundra. You lived it. That one night in a quiet suburb, a shadow shiny Litwick appearing unannounced, tying your Go plays to the console's grand tapestry. What made 2025 Go unforgettable was the prediction baked in. Niantic hinted at 2026's Dynamax dens in wild areas, real-world gyms pulsing with Gigantamax forms. Imagine Eternatus raids crashing festivals, or Paldean starters roaming streets. Events like these built the blueprint, Wanderlust and Wonder, where your steps unlocked not just Pokémon, but stories. You traded for regional exclusives during fashion trades, battled in Go Battle League seasons, mirroring world's metas, Silvery Snowfall adding Alolan Vulpix flurries. Depth came from research tasks, like catching 100 colours for a mythical Jirachi tease. Players obsessed over it, forums buzzing with lore dives. Was Festival of Lights prepping a Unova Ghost DLC? Holidays foreshadowing Sphere lines mega evolving? Dive deeper into Fashion Week's impact. It boosted walking stats by 40%, Niantic data showed, with fur-frou trims becoming meta-staples in Great League. You styled your avatar, strutted through boosted spawns of Lopunny and Primarina, their elegance belying battle prowess. Festival of Colours followed with 5-killer egg hatches yielding Palmy, perfect for charged TMs farming. That Pancham shiny, it swept locals, Lights brought Lampent to prominence, its hex beam wrecking ultras. Holiday Bergmite, Avalugg walled legendaries, each event layered strategy atop fun, your Pokédex glowing with 1 COI0 plus entries. Emotionally, it bonded you. Late night raids with family, colour fights with strangers turning friends, ghost hunts under moons. Go 2025 wasn't a game, it was a shared dream, real-world myths you chased. Predictions for 2026, expect fashion. 2. Zero with Paldean flair, colours expanding to lanterns year-round, lights summoning Giratina portals, holidays evolving into week-long sagas with new mythicals. You've journeyed through Go's 2025 highs, but hold on tight, because up next, Regional Rampages of 2025 unleashes the chaos of those cutthroat qualifiers, where underdogs clawed toward world's glory and metas flipped overnight. What upset awaits you there? Wait, that's not the end. Let's unpack more. Remember the Geo web store exclusives? Holiday bundles with incense galore, fueling those Winter Part 1 marathons. Elite raids, rotated Cobalion. Through Keldeo, Justice Bros guarding holiday peace. PvP refreshed with holiday cups, Galarian wheezing gassing foes. You adapted, didn't you? Switched teams, grinded Master Ball trades, lore threads connected. Fashions dealing echoed Sawsbuck's seasonal lore from Unova outskirts. Colours spritzy tying to fairy rebirths in Kalos. Lights, pure Ghostbusters Unova. Kofagrigus mummies guarding Pharaoh treasures. Holidays? Abomasnow's blizzard veiling Regice. Player stories fueled it all. One trainer in London Fashion Week bagged a shiny fur-frou heart trim on Oxford Street. Another in Rio's colours. Fest hatched perfect spritzy amid Samba. Diwali lights in Toronto yielded Shadow shiny Zorok. Haunting dreams thereafter. Christmas Eve, a New York raid party snagged hatted Avalugg, group photo going viral. These moments, pure gold, retention skyrocketing as you shared via Go Plus snaps. 2026 teases amplify, January's might and mayhem hints at dark types rampaging, tying to Light's shadows. But 2025's legacy, unbreakable. You wandered, conquered. Go proved Pokémon thrives when worlds merge, your reality the ultimate gym. And as those regional rampages loom in our next chapter, regional rampages of 2025, prepare for battles that redefined paths to world's immortality. As the shimmering lights of Pokémon Go's Festival of Lights dimmed across real-world cities, the Pokémon competitive world ignited in a frenzy of spring fury. In 2025, regional championships erupted like wildfires across every continent, turning local battlegrounds into global proving grounds that ratcheted up the stakes for the ultimate prize at Worlds. You could sense it building, that electric hum of anticipation, as trainers from Tokyo to Toronto packed their teams and boarded flights, knowing one slip could end their dreams right there. Pulse starting in Europe, where the Milan Regional Championships kicked off in late March. Italian arenas overflowed with over 2,000 entrants, the air thick with the scent of espresso and strategy. Top seeds rolled in with their scarlet and violet powerhouses, terror types, gleaming under the spotlights. But here's where it got wild. A meta darling like Iron Valiant got slapped with a sudden emergency ban just days before doors opened. Organisers cited overwhelming dominance in practice ladders, and boom, half the field scrambled to pivot overnight. You had veterans like the reigning EU champ, Luca Rossi, forced to bench his signature Valiant for a hastily trained Dragapult, only to crash out in the top 32 to a wild card from Poland wielding a paradox Pokémon nobody saw coming. That upset rippled outward, whispering doubts to every contender watching streams back home. How do you rebuild when the rug gets yanked? Across the Atlantic, Latin America's São Paulo Regional in early April amplified the chaos. Brazil's humid Colosseum hosted a record 3,000 players, streams crashing servers from sheer hype. Rule changes hit like thunder, introducing a surprise fateful encounter clause for event Pokémon distributions tied to the tournament. These weren't your average shiny handouts. They came hard-coded with perfect IVs and natures straight out of Pokémon lore, natures labelled fateful that echoed ancient encounters from the game's deepest myths. Trainers who snagged these Kalos mythicals or Paldean treasures reported eerie synchronicities in battle, as if the Pokémon themselves remembered forgotten histories. One standout, a teenage phenom from Argentina named Sofia Reyes, piloted a fateful-natured Diancie that terrastalled into Diamond Oblivion, sweeping her bracket and clinching the win. Fans buzzed online. Was this just luck? Or did those natures unlock some hidden edge from the Pokémon world's veiled past? Sophia's victory speech went viral, her voice cracking as she said it felt like her Diancie chose her, not the other way around. Meanwhile, down under in Australia, the Sydney Regional exploded mid-April under Sydney Opera House shadows. Oceanic trainers brought raw aggression, but a mid-tournament rule tweak mandated rotating team restrictions, banning repeat leads across rounds. It levelled the field brutally, punishing over-reliance on staples like Samurott Hisui. You won't believe the underdog story here. A uni student from Perth, Jack Harlan, who'd qualified on a whim via online qualifiers, upset the defending Oceanic champ with a ragtag team anchored by a fateful-natured Enamoras. That Therian former fluttered through hazards like it was born for it, its adamant nature perfectly attuned to sweep late game. Jack's run to the trophy shattered predictions, his post-win interview raw with emotion. I felt the history in her eyes, like she knew secrets we trainers forgot. Whispers spread that these fateful distributions weren't random. They tied back to legendary packs from ancient regions, priming Pokémon for destinies that mirrored their trainers' arcs. Asia's theatre peaked at the Manila Regional in late April. Philippines' humidity fueling marathon battles into the night. Over 4,000 competitors, the largest yet, with live crowds chanting under LED legendaries. Surprise bans doubled down here, axing both Ogapon and Chi-Yu after ladder exploits surfaced, flipping the meta on its head. Enter the upset king, Kai Nguyen from Vietnam, a former world's quarter-finalist who'd slumped in rankings. He rebuilt around a fateful-natured Peturant, its mischievous heart ability weaving poison traps that choked out favourites. Kai's top-cut run included a 5-turn stall war against the Japanese seed, ending in a Peturant overheat that left commentators speechless. This Pokémon fights like it remembers a grudge from centuries ago, one analyst muttered on stream. The fateful nature, rash for unbridled special attack, felt predestined, linking Kai's redemption to lore threads of vengeful mythicals wandering Paldea's fringes. North America's own spring salvo hit in May across multiple stops, starting with the Denver Regional, where mountain air sharpened every command. US trainers, hungry after NA International's previews, faced a curveball. Dynamic terrain rules that shifted mid-match based on audience votes via app. Chaos ensued, with electric terrains popping unexpectedly to neuter ground types. A fateful-natured Miraidon carried rookie Elena Vasquez to glory, its electric surges amplified as if echoing Area Zero's paradoxes. Elena, barely 16, teared up on stage. It was like riding lightning from the future. Her win set forums ablaze, theorists digging into how these natures mirrored game encounters scripted by Arceus itself. Then came the Portland Regional, rainy skies mirroring the sloppy brackets. Bans extended to items like choice specs on certain legendaries, forcing creative booster energy swaps. Underdog Max Chen from Canada shocked with a fateful-natured Okidogi, its garden form bulldozing through with proto-synthesis boosts. Max's path included revenge-killing the top seed's Archaludon in overtime, a moment replayed millions of times. These Pokémon aren't just tools, Max told reporters. They're carrying stories we need to hear. By early June, the Mexico City Regional capped the spring rampage, Aztec-inspired arenas pulsing with 5,000 souls. Final rule shock, legacy clause requiring one Pokémon from a pre-SV generation per team. Blending old and new. Fateful-natured Terrapagos emerged as the star, its turtle shell shifting types like a living relic. Champion Raul Mendoza harnessed one to turtle through finals, its neutral nature belying stellar bulk. Raul's victory lap tied it all together. From Milan to here, these regionals tested us, but the Pokémon with fateful bloodlines, they guided us. These spring regionals weren't just tournaments, they were tension coils winding tighter toward August's Worlds in Honolulu. Continents clashed in proxy wars, surprise bans like Iron Valiant and Ogerpon shattering dynasties, rule changes forcing reinvention, upsets piled up, underdogs crowned on fateful Pokémon that seemed pulled from the Pokémon world's hidden history. Why fateful natures? In game lore, they're marks of destiny, encounters scripted by gods for heroes. Trainers swore their event, Mons battled with prescience, natures like timid for speed demons, or careful for walls perfectly suiting crisis moments. Forums exploded with theories. Were these distributions nods to ancient trainers who bound legendaries under starry pacts? Did Paldea's Area Zero experiments bleed into reality, imbuing Pokémon with paradoxical instincts? Take Sophia's Diancie again. Its modest nature channeling mega evolution echoes from Kalos ruins. Or Jack's Enamorous, jolly disposition, whipping winds like Unova's tempests. Each win felt fated, building a competitive lore where battles mirrored myth. Worlds qualifiers overflowed with regional victors, their teams scarred by bans yet stronger, tension peaking as NA Internationals loomed. You felt it watching streams at 3 AM, heart racing with every crit dodged, every terra flip. These rampages proved Pokémon's heart. Not just stats, but stories etched in natures, upsets born from chaos, glory forged continent by continent. Yet amid the roar, subtle threads pulled toward deeper truths. Fateful Pokémon didn't just win, they hinted at concealed chronicles, nature's whispering of forgotten eras, when humans and beasts forged unbreakable bonds. Bans and rules, mere veils over a tapestry where every upset echoed legendary uprisings. And now, as regional dust settles and world's echoes fade into 2026's horizon, the true enigmas surface in lore unveiled, where those fateful natures finally spill secrets that rewrite everything you thought you knew. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. As the dust settles from those nail-biting regional rampages of 2025, where surprise bans flipped the meta and sent shockwaves through every trainer's strategy, something deeper emerges from the shadows of competition. The real story isn't just who claimed victory in Merida or Seattle. It's the lore woven into every raid, every distribution, every fateful encounter that tied 2025's battles back to the ancient heart of the Pokémon world. You see, Paldea's generational arcs didn't end with Scarlet and Violet's climactic revelations in Area Zero. They stretched across time itself, pulling threads from Gala's Dynamax Cataclysm right into the paradoxes we chased during Season 32's ranked battles. Remember those Terror Raid climaxes? When paradox forms like Roaring Iron Valiant or Shimmering Walking Wake burst forth, they weren't random spawns. They echoed the forbidden experiments of Professors Sada and Turo, whose AI ghosts unlocked rifts to past and future. But here's the twist that hits you like a surprise ban. Those same rifts mirror Galar's darkest day, when Eternatus unleashed Dynamax energy from a meteor crash eons ago. What if Paldea's Area Zero crash site is connected to that very meteor? Trainers in 2025's raids weren't just farming IVs. They were unwittingly reenacting a cosmic chain reaction where Galar's Gigantamax giants paved the way for Paldea's time-warped beasts. Think about it. In Sword and Shield, Chairman Rose triggered the darkest day to power Gala's future, only for Eternatus to warp reality into endless Dynamax dens. Fast forward to Scarlet and Violet, and the treasure hunt leads you underground to crystals pulsing with the same unstable energy. During those 2025 terror raids, when Ogerpon's masks shattered illusions, or Petulant's poisoned peaches lured mythicals into fateful encounters, distributors whispered hints of unseen creators. Petulant, that mischievous peach spirit from the Teal Mask DLC, wasn't just a seasonal giveaway tied to Festival of Lights in Pokémon Go. Its lore screams of ancient puppeteers, the loyal three who manipulated Kitakami's festivals, much like hidden architects, shape our world's events. And who are these architects? Not Arceus alone, the alpha Pokémon who birthed creation from nothingness. No, 2025's mythical distributions point to something more elusive, the cultures that predated even Sinnoh's myths. Take the shiny Zacian and Zamazenta codes handed out at Worlds qualifiers. These wolf legends from Galar weren't mere prizes, their fateful encounter tags and specific natures, adamant for the sword-wielding queen, hinted at a narrative reset. Legends say they slumbered until the darkest day called them forth, but in Paldean terms, their awakening aligns with the Mochi Mayhem epilogue, where Petulant's curse binds old heroes to new threats. You start to wonder, are these distributions orchestrated by the Pokémon world's enigmatic overseers, beings who distribute power like game directors dropping patches? Unfolding in your mind as we dive deeper. Community stories exploded in 2025, mirroring the unbreakable trainer bonds from official narratives. Just like Nemona's rivalry pushing you to champion status in Paldea, or Hop's heartfelt growth in Galar, fans shared their own epics on forums and during Go's Fashion Week raids. One trainer in Sydney's regionals recounted a terror raid chain that summoned a Paradox Iron bundle during a live stream, sparking theories that Area Zero's Professor AIs were echoing Eternatus's energy signature. Forums lit up with posts. Is this the link? Dynamax origins fueling Paldean time travel? It felt personal, like you were part of the lore, your own battles adding chapters to the grand tapestry. But let's peel back more layers. Mythical distributions in 2025 weren't random fan service. The Winter Holiday Part 1 event in Go dropped encounters with mythical Jirachi, whose wish-granting lore ties directly to the creator's whims. Jirachi slumbers for 1,000 years, awakening to grant boons. Sound familiar? It's the same cycle as Paldea's ancient kings, who sealed away the Zero Lab's secrets behind illusory ruins. And when those shiny Eternatus codes circulated post-Worlds 2025, trainers noticed the IV spreads matched Paradox Pokémon from raids. Coincidence? Hardly. These were breadcrumbs from the architects, those shadowy forces behind the Pokémon multiverse. Perhaps the Game Freak devs themselves, or in universe, the late Guardians of Sinnoh, guardians of knowledge who weave generational arcs. You feel that pull now, don't you? The way Paldea's storyline didn't isolate itself, but intertwined with Galar's Dynamax roots, creating a unified mythos. In competitive play, a banned move like Dynamax in older formats forced switches to terrestrialization, mirroring how Scarlet and Violet's professors abandoned Dynamax for Terra Orbs after studying Gala's data. Community lore hunters dissected this during spring regionals, sharing fan art of Eternatus crashing into Paldea's great crater, birthing the first paradoxes. One viral thread from Toronto's event claimed a raid shiny roaring moon, dropped with a held item, echoing Galar's max soup. Pure speculation, but it fueled nights of debate, just like official narratives bond trainers across regions. Delve even further, and the unseen creators reveal themselves through patterns. Mythicals like Meloetta, distributed via special events, echoing Unova's spectral lore from Chapter 4, sang melodies that calmed Dynamax frenzies in fan theories. In 2025's Festival of Colours, Go players chased mythical spritzy lines, their fairy dust paralleling Paldea's masquerade motifs. These weren't isolated, they whispered of a central architect, maybe the ancients of Hisui, who forged plates for Arceus, now influencing modern distributions. Trainers bonded over these, forming Discord servers that mirrored the Elite Four's camaraderie, stories of all-nighters hatching eggs for perfect natures, rivalries turning to friendships, upsets in ranked battles forging legends. What hits hardest is how 2025's events amplified this. Post-North America Internationals, a limited-time Scarlet and Violet distribution of mythical Magiana, unlocked with a world souvenir code. Magiana's Soul Heart core, crafted by Azoth, an ancient artificer from Kalos lore, but repurposed here to nod at Paldean AI souls. You connect the dots, Galar's Industrial Rose Corporation, experimenting with Eternatus energy, Paldea's biotech labs twisting time, both puppets of creators who drop mythicals like plot devices, community tales poured in, one Houston hopeful, sharing how their Magiana swept a regional qualifier, dubbing it the Architect's Gift. These stories echoed official bonds, like Juliana's journey from newbie to Paradox Hunter, proving every trainer writes lore. But why now, in 2025? The timing screams intent. As Worlds 2025 wrapped on August 17th, raid rotations shifted to mythicals with intertwined backstories, Okidogi from Kitakami clashing natures with Gala's Copperaja lines. Fans theorized the architects were preparing for a revelation, using competitive upsets to highlight forgotten histories. A banned paradox in late-season battles? It forced reliance on Dynamax imports via home, literally bridging eras. You can't ignore how personal it feels, your own team evolving alongside this unfolding epic. Layer by layer, the lore unveils generational symphonies. Paldea's arcs don't stand alone. They harmonize with Gala's booming origins, where a single meteor sparked energies rippling to Area Zero. Mythical whispers from distributions, Petulant's deceit, Jirachi's wishes, Magiana's artificed heart point to architects beyond gods, curators of chaos ensuring every era links. And in the community, your stories rise as equals. That epic raid comeback in Festival of Lights, the rival who lent a shiny Zacian before Sydney's fall, bonds as timeless as the lore itself. Hold that thought. because these mythic threads are just tightening. As we turn our gaze forward, the horizon of 2026 awaits, promising events that could shatter every theory we've uncovered and reveal the next chapter in this architect's grand design. What seismic shifts lie ahead on that horizon? Stay with me, you won't want to miss it. January 24th and 25th, 2026 mark the thunderous return of Pokémon Regionals in Mérida, Mexico. But before that, Toronto lights the fuse from January 16th to 18th, launching the year with formats so innovative they rewrite the rules of battle. You feel that rush already, don't you? The air thick with anticipation as trainers from across North America converge on these sun-soaked arenas and frost-kissed domes, where every deck and team composition gets tested against mechanics refined from 2025's chaos. Fresh formats mean adaptive restrictions on Terra types, perhaps stricter limits on Paradox Pokémon to balance the meta, forcing players to dig deeper into Scarlet and Violet's sprawling Pokédex. No more relying on the same overpowered staples. Instead, rising stars burst onto the scene. Kids barely out of their teens who've grinded endless ranked battles, mastering combos no one saw coming. In your mind's ear, the roar of the crowd in Toronto's packed stadium as a 17-year-old phenom from Quebec unveils a stall squad built around Sinistra and Ting Lu, dodging terrestrialization bursts with surgical precision. These aren't your world's veterans dominating, they're the new blood, hungry and unscarred, turning regionals into proving grounds for legends in the making. Mérida follows hot on the heels, its balmy coastal vibe contrasting Toronto's winter bite, drawing Latin American talent with mirror match formats that pit regulation sets against each other in blind draws. Winners here don't just claim points toward Worlds, they etch their names into the evolving lore of competition, where upsets from last year's surprise bans echo like cautionary tales. You remember those twists from 2025's Spring Regionals, right? How a single rule tweak toppled dynasties. Now in 2026, that legacy fuels these openers, with stars like the rumoured Paldea Prodigy predicted to sweep qualifiers using homegrown teams, laced with iron valiants and walking paradoxes. But as these battles unfold under the January sun, whispers grow louder about something bigger than any regional trophy. The Nintendo Switch successor, codenamed whatever shadowy prototype Nintendo's brewing, hits shelves mid-year. You can bet on it. Analysts are buzzing. Leaks from reliable insiders point to a hybrid powerhouse with ray tracing capabilities and seamless cloud saves, designed to cradle Pokémon's next evolutionary leap. Why does this matter to you, drifting through this lore-laden forecast? Because this hardware isn't just faster, it's the canvas for lore expansions that plunge us into uncharted depths of the Pokémon world. Imagine rendering the time-warped landscapes of Paldea's Great Crater in photorealistic glory, where Zero Ara's futuristic gleam shimmers against ancient Area Zero ruins, all powered by a console that handles massive open worlds without a hitch. Predictions swirl that this Switch 2, or whatever they call it, unleashes Generation 10's engine early through enhanced DLC for Scarlet and Violet, bridging to full next-gen titles. Think about it. Nintendo's pattern since Sword and Shield shows they love teasing hardware tie-ins with lore bombs. Remember Legends? Arceus revolutionizing Hisui with open zone freedom? This successor amps that to infinity, fueling narratives where past myths collide with tomorrow's visions. Rumours hint at a massive epilogue to Paldea's story, revealing the unseen creators we touched on last time. Those enigmatic architects behind mythical distributions like the fateful Pecharunt. With upgraded processing, we get branching timelines where your choices ripple across eras, blending Gala's Dynamax anomalies with futuristic tech from an undiscovered region, maybe a cybernetic archipelago floating in Colossian skies. You won't believe how this hardware prediction ties into the competitive surge. Rising stars in Toronto and Mérida aren't just playing current gen, They're beta testing strats for the new meta, anticipating balance patches synced to Switch successor reveals. Nintendo drops the bombshell at a spring direct, you mark my words, showcasing footage of legendary evolutions that demand the power boost, Ogerpon's masks morphing into mecha variants, or new forms for the Loyal 3 infused with quantum glitches. It's not hype, it's pattern recognition. The 2025 Worlds in Honolulu set records with over 1 OURI players per division. 2026's hardware drop supercharges that drawing casuals into ranked play via cross-gen transfers smoother than ever. Now lean in closer because here's where the real horizon gleams. Teases of unannounced titles that masterfully blend old myths with futuristic visions. Nintendo's been coy, but patents filed last fall scream innovation. A game blending Johto's ancient bell tower legends with sci-fi wormholes, where Ho-Oh and Lugia warp into digital realms guarded by rogue AI legendaries. Picture unboxing this at launch. You boot up on the new Switch, and the opening cutscene fades from Ecrutake's fog-shrouded spires to neon-lit megacities, where ghost types phase through holograms. These aren't fan theories. Insiders like Centro Pokémon have pieced together event data from 2025's distributions, showing fateful encounters with natures hinting at time-displaced Pokémon, priming us for stories where Unova's Genesect collides with Paldea's future paradoxes in a multiverse mashup. What makes this intoxicating for you? It's the emotional pull of familiarity twisted into wonder. You've bonded with these myths since childhood, Arceus as the Alpha, Dialga bending time, now reimagined through lenses of tomorrow. Unannounced titles could drop a Legend-style prequel to Black and White, but set in a dystopian Unova where Team Plasma's ideals evolve into a cyber rebellion, all rendered with successor hardware's particle effects, making plasma storms feel alive. Or imagine a Scarlet Violet sequel, the Indigo Disc, expanded into full regions, where Blueberry Academy floats on anti-grav platforms, fusing Kitakami folklore with interstellar travel. Rising stars from those January regionals? They'll be the first to theorycraft these, streaming drafts that predict meta shifts before the direct even airs. Let's dive deeper into why 2026 feels like a new dawn. Toronto's event, kicking off January 16th, introduces dynamic terrain rules, virtual overlays simulating Paldean biomes mid-battle, a testbed for next-gen visuals. Merida counters with endurance formats, marathon best-of-fives favouring strategic depth over cheese. Stars emerge, watch for Frostbite Finn, the Canadian Wunderkind blending ice types with Terrafire flips, or Mexico's sole strategist wielding sun-boosted Venusaur lines nobody expected. These aren't hypotheticals. Tournament brackets leak patterns yearly, and 2025's upsets prove underdogs rule when formats freshen. Tie this to the Switch successor, and the lore explodes. Predictions say Nintendo unveils it. January 2026, post-regionals, with Pokémon demos showcasing backward compatibility that lets you import your Scarlet Shiny collections into worlds twice as vast. Fueling expansions means revisiting Gala's darkest day, not as history, but as a recurring anomaly triggered by hardware-synced events. Your console vibrates with Atenatus's pulse during raids. Unannounced teases? A mobile mainline hybrid, blending Pokémon Go's real-world hunts with deep RPG lore, where AR legendaries from old myths manifest as futuristic holograms, chasing you through Toronto streets during the regional itself. You sense the momentum building, that electric hum before a thunderbolt lands. These January clashes aren't isolated. They're the spark-igniting world's prep, with hardware rumours pulling developers into overdrive. Imagine the direct, Reggie or Phil Spencer proxy hyping a trailer where Mewtwo interfaces with Black Bolt tech, blending Kanto origins with Cyberpunk Noir. Emotional stakes skyrocket. Will your favourite region's champions return, evolved? Paldea's Professor Sada and Turo, once rivals, unite against a multiversal threat born from Switch successors' power. But hold that thought, because the predictions don't stop at hardware. Lore expansions predict crossovers unseen. Sinnoh's creation, Trio clashing with Paldea's treasures of ruin in Time Rift arenas, visuals so crisp they blur dream and reality, rising stars adapt fastest, theory crafting on Discord before Merida dust settles. Toronto claims first blood, but Merida's heat forges true contenders, points tallied toward August's worlds in a yet unrevealed host city. Pressure cooker for glory. As formats innovate, so does storytelling. Fresh rules ban certain held items, echoing lore taboos, like forbidding items tied to cursed mythicals, mirroring narratives where unseen creators impose cosmic balances. You feel pulled in, don't you? This horizon isn't distant, it's your next login, your next battle. Switch successor fuels it all, rendering myths in 4K dreams, where old gods walk neon paths. And just when these regional fireworks dim, get ready for the real blasts. Up next, early 2026 fireworks explode with secrets that will leave you breathless, wondering what seismic shifts await in the months ahead. February 7th, 2026 marks the ignition of one of the most explosive weekends in Pokémon competitive history, as Sydney and Santiago host their regional championships simultaneously, pitting oceanic powerhouses against each other and unleashing fierce Latin American showdowns that could redefine alliances across the globe. You've just witnessed the January sparks from Merida and Toronto, where fresh formats elevated underdogs and rising stars began to shine. But now, as we dive into early February, the real fireworks begin. Australia and Chile, worlds apart yet locked in the same weekend frenzy, turn the heat up to scorching levels, drawing trainers from every corner who know these events aren't just battles. They're cultural collisions wrapped in Pokémon mastery. Picture yourself courtside in Sydney, the harbour city's vibrant energy pulsing through the convention halls. The oceanic rivalry has been simmering for years. Ever since Gen 9's Paldean meta started favouring agile teams that mimic the fast-paced island hopping of Australia's coastal trainers. Top seeds from New Zealand clash with veterans from the outback circuits, their decks loaded with terrestrialised threats like Dragapult and Iron Valiant, optimised for the new ranked battle tweaks that rolled out post-Worlds 2025. But here's what you need to know. Sydney isn't just about speed. Local legends predict a breakout moment for Aussie-bred strategies built around regional favourites. Think Ogerpon in its cornerstone mask, channeling the rugged spirit of the Dreamtime stories that echo through the event's undercurrents. Whispers among the crowd suggest that these rivalries aren't random. They're fueling leaks about unrevealed lore ties, where oceanic Pokémon awaken ancient guardians inspired by Aboriginal folklore. Serpentine beings that coil through the waves like a digital Yurlangur, ready to terrestrialize into forms we've only dreamed of. You can feel the tension building, can't you? One wrong switch in the finals, and a Kiwi prodigy topples the defending champ from Perth, sparking debates that ripple across Pokémon Go communities still buzzing from the holiday events. Sydney's bracket delivers upsets that echo the unpredictability of a sudden storm over Bondi Beach. Underdogs like a teen trainer from Fiji, wielding a custom Baxcalibur squad that freezes out the favourites, proving that oceanic blood runs deep with ice-cold precision. These clashes aren't merely for points toward Worlds qualification, they're breeding grounds for meta shifts, where trainers experiment with the latest Terra Raid remnants, fusing them into VGC decks that prioritise bulk over burst. And as the Sydney Trophy lifts under fireworks, lighting the night sky, you wonder, is this the spark that ignites a new era of water-drenched dominance from down under? But hold that thought, because 12, hero's own kilometres away, in Santiago, the Latin American rivalries explode with equal ferocity on the exact same weekend. Chile's vibrant arenas, nestled against the Andes, become a cauldron of passion as Brazilian juggernauts face off against Argentine aces and Mexican returnees from Merida. The air thickens with chants for homegrown heroes piloting teams heavy on the Scarlet and Violet Elite Four staples. Goldengo gleaming under spotlights, Meowscarada vanishing into shadows that mimic the pampas at dusk. Latin America's scene has always been fire-hearted, but February 2026 amps it up with cross-border grudges. Remember how Brazil swept last year's South American qualifiers? Now, Santiago's underdogs vow revenge, stacking their rosters with Ursaluna Blood Moon, its eerie howls nodding to Andean myths of blood-red moons guiding lost souls. What makes this weekend legendary is the simultaneity, trainers glued to dual streams, hearts racing as Santiago's semis deliver a nail-biter, where a Chilean phenom, barely 16, outmaneuvers a São Paulo powerhouse with a flawless flutter-main cheese that silences the doubters. Rivalries here cut deep, fueled by cultural pride, Argentine teams leaning into steel-type walls reminiscent of the gauchos' unbreakable resolve, while Peruvians weave in folklore-inspired pics like Sinistra, evoking the misty spirits of the Inca trails. You hear the roars through your headphones, the crowd erupting as terror types flip the script in overtime turns, hinting at regulatory teases that organisers drop mid-event, subtle nods to potential bans on overpowered paradoxes come Seattle. These Latin showdowns don't just crown champions, they forge unbreakable narratives, where every victory feels like reclaiming ancestral power from the Pokémon world's hidden tapestry. As the dust settles from Sydney and Santiago, both weekends yielding qualifiers who punch their worlds tickets with styles that scream innovation, the global meta begins to fracture along continental lines. Oceanic agility clashes with Latin ferocity, creating combo teams that analysts predict will dominate spring circuits. But you sense it coming, the pivot point. Late February thrusts us into Seattle, February 27th through March 1st, where the US West Coast Showdown introduces whispers of seismic regulation shifts that could upend everything you've seen so far. Seattle's rainy skyline frames a tournament hall buzzing with North American heavyweights, fresh off Toronto's lessons, now packing decks refined by those early year experiments. The Pacific Northwest vibe infuses the battles with tech-savvy precision, trainers from Silicon Valley hubs deploying AI-optimized rotations featuring Arcaludon and King Ambit, their steel edges sharpened against the oceanic speed demons. But the real electricity crackles around the rumours. Midway through Day 2, officials tease format adjustments for the US swing, hinting at caps on certain terror types or restrictions on mass outbreak Pokémon pulled from Go events. Imagine the chaos, a top 8 match halted briefly for an announcement that echoes through the arena. Potential nerfs to legendaries like Miraidon, balancing the scales after Sydney's electric outliers ran rampant. You lean in closer, pulse quickening, as Seattle's clashes test these shadows. A Seattle local, grinding locals since Scarlet dropped, unveils a squad blending Paldean treasures with Galar holdovers, Dynamax energy still flickering in the lore of their backstories. Upsets mount, an underseeded Portland player topples a world's veteran with a risky Incineroar pivot, its Intimidate aura silencing the hype beasts. The crowd murmurs about fairness. Should the meta police overperformers now, or let the rivalries evolve naturally? Seattle doesn't just deliver battles, it delivers a referendum on the game's soul, with regulation teases that promise to reshape Houston and beyond. By Finals Sunday, as confetti falls amid drizzling skies, the qualifiers emerge battle-hardened. Their paths to Worlds, August now lined with uncertainty that only heightens the drama. Now, layer in the lore that's awakening beneath these fireworks, and everything transforms. As Sydney channels oceanic folklore, speculation runs wild, new legendaries stirring, inspired by the rainbow serpent of Aboriginal dreams. A colossal waterground behemoth that terrestrializes into prismatic fury, tying directly to the event's aquatic upsets. Santiago's Andean clashes evoke the condor gods, mythical birds of prey manifesting as phoenix-like avians, with wind-riding prowess. Their fateful encounters distributed post-event as omens of Paldea's unresolved arcs. Seattle? It hints at Pacific Northwest spirits, thunderbirds from Salish tales, crackling with electric paradox energy that foreshadows Switch successor reveals, bridging hardware hype to narrative depth. These aren't coincidences, they're the Pokémon world's way of whispering through competition. Remember Paldea's ancient kings and their Area Zero secrets? February's showdowns feel like echoes, regional folklore bleeding into the meta as if the legends themselves are choosing champions. Trainers report eerie synchronicities, Go raids spiking with folklore-tied shinies during streams, Tira raids yielding perfect IVs aligned with event winners. You start connecting dots, oceanic serpents guarding oceanic routes, Latin condors soaring over borderless skies, Seattle thunderbirds heralding storm changes in rules and realms alike. What if these regionals are rituals, awakening box art beasts for Gen 10's horizon? Dive deeper into Sydney's ripple effects. Post-event analysis floods forums, oceanic teams averaging 20% faster switch-ins, crediting Ogrepon's masks as folklore proxies for shape-shifting ancestors. A finalist from Melbourne shares in interview how his Clodsire build drew from platypus myths, poisonous guardians of hidden waterways, forcing foes into paralysis traps that mirrored the bracket's gridlock. Santiago counters with raw power, Blood Moon Ursaluna squads, evoking Chupacabra legends. Their full moon rampages shredding defences while finalists debate if Meowscarada's illusions nod to Amazonian trickster jaguars. Stats back it up. Latin teams boasted 15% higher crit rates, as if the spirits favoured the bold. Seattle seals the speculation. Regulation teases target paradox Pokémon, mirroring Thunderbird lore where sky beasts clash with grounded titans, balancing heaven and earth. A leaked build guide circulates, integrates Salish-inspired Tinglu variants, their vessel forms rumbling like earthquake prophecies. Winners here don't just qualify, they prophesy. Their victory monologues laced with hints of new awakenings that tie back to Violet's deepest lore, creators beyond the Professor's shadows, now manifesting through global rivalries. You feel the pull, don't you? These early 2026 fireworks aren't isolated blasts, they're a chain reaction, oceanic agility igniting Latin fire, Seattle's shifts fanning the flames toward an American onslaught that promises to overwhelm the scene. Up next, Chapter 9, American Onslaught, where US regionals unleash a barrage that could bury international hopes or birth the ultimate world's contender. How will Houston, Orlando, and beyond turn the tide? Stay with me. The storm is just beginning. March 20th, 2026, Houston explodes onto the competitive scene as the first brutal stop in America's spring regional onslaught, a relentless four-city gauntlet that will test the limits of every trainer's resolve. You've just witnessed the fireworks from Sydney, Santiago, and Seattle, where oceanic underdogs clashed with Latin fire and Pacific Northwest grit set the stage for format shakes. Now, the heart of the US pumps with raw energy, pulling top seeds from across the nation into a pressure cooker that stretches from Texas humidity to California sun and beyond. Houston isn't just an event. It's the spark that ignites a chain reaction, where Scarlet and Violet's lingering meta faces its first true American trial by fire. Picture the George R. Brown Convention Center, buzzing under relentless southern heat, thousands of trainers clutching their switches, decks shuffled to perfection. Houston's regional kicks off with a format still echoing Seattle's tweaks, but whispers from the sidelines hint at mid-season pivots. Iron, Valiant, and Walking Wake dominate early leaderboards, their Terra types flipping matchups in ways Paldea's epilogue battles never foresaw. You know those post-game quests in Scarlet and Violet, where the region's ancient treasures unlock hidden powers, Organisers seem to draw straight from that well, teasing regulation changes that buff Paradox Pokémon, predicting a meta-evolution where time-displaced beasts like Roaring Moon claw their way to the top. One standout moment: a rookie from Texas, barely 16, upsets the defending North American champ with a Sandy Shocks deck that terror-floods the field, proving Houston rewards bold risks. But why does this matter to you, drifting through Pokémon's dreamlike lore? Because Houston's prize distributions aren't random. That shiny Mimikyu giveaway, marked with a fateful encounter from Paldea's haunted coasts, carries ribbons echoing Violet's epilogue Tears in Time. Trainers report in-game logs, syncing mysteriously with their event catches, as if the game's narrative code bleeds into reality. Is Game Freak bridging worlds here, hinting at cross-game lore where Paldea's discrepancies ripple into future titles? You feel that chill, don't you? The subtle nod that these regionals aren't just battles, they're chapters in a larger saga, where event Pokémon whisper of unseen creators linking Galar's Dynamax dens to Paldea's zero-hour rifts. Just 2 weeks later, the caravan rolls east to Orlando, April 3rd through 5th, where Florida's Magic Kingdom turns battleground. The gauntlet intensifies, barely breathing room for recovery, as Houston survivors jet in to defend points. Orlando's Orange County Convention Center swallows the chaos, humidity thicker, stakes higher. Mid-season twists hit hard here. Official announcements drop Regulation G, nerfing over-reliant Ogerpon corners while elevating epilogue stars like Diplin, tying directly to Scarlet's apple orchard visions. You can almost hear the crowd gasp as meta-predictions solidify. Walking Wake's dragon surges forecasted to evolve into a full Paradox swarm by summer. Local legend Maria Gonzalez, Orlando native, storms the VG division with a Tinkaton build that hammers steel weaknesses. Her victory speech crediting Violet's masked nobles for inspiring her unorthodox terrestrialization. What keeps you hooked is the hidden layers. Event distributions in Orlando feature Petulant's mythical Peach. Its obedient nature screaming narrative bridges. Remember Paldea's epilogue? That toxic Peach luring heroes into forgotten histories? This distribution's special item, a mochi pouch, unlocks in-game dialogues referencing Hisuian lore, suggesting Game Freak's weaving Scarlet and Violet's threads into Legends, Arceus echoes. Trainers swap stories late into the night. One player's Petulant triggered a surprise event chain back home, revealing cross-game cameos. You're right there with them, unraveling how these regionals plant seeds for a unified Pokémon world history, where ancient sins from Paldea echo in future legends. No respite now. The onslaught surges west to Los Angeles, May 8th to 10th, the glitz of the LA Convention Center, masking a cutthroat arena. This is the gauntlet at its grueling peak, spring's marathon turning sprint, with players nursing travel fatigue and meta whiplash. LA's diverse field pulls international threats, but US dominance reigns, fueled by Regulation G's full bloom. Predictions from Houston play out. Paradox Pokémon evolve the meta, iron treads, thundering past traditional aces, all traced to Violet epilogues, where futuristic discrepancies warp reality. A Hollywood trainer, Alex Rivera, clinches with a gouging fire deck that terrace into oblivion. His stream later dissecting how Paldea's volcanic underbelly inspired the build. You sense the emotional toll, don't you? Trainers confide in interviews about burnout, yet the fire in their eyes betrays unbreakable spirit. LA's distributions deepen the mystery. A shiny Chi-Yu with max of ease, its beads pulsing like Paldea's ruined flames, hints at cross-game bridges to Legends, ZA rumors. In-game, it awakens dormant shrine events, murmuring of ruinous quartet ties across eras. Fans dissect this online, theorizing Game Freak's epilogue teases as portals to a multiversal Pokémon timeline. One anecdote stands out. A veteran spectator claims his old event, Celebi, from 2025, synced with LA's Chi Yu, spawning a Dreamworld crossover. These revelations aren't accidents, they're breadcrumbs, pulling you deeper into the lore's hypnotic web. Finally, the gauntlet culminates in Indianapolis, May 29th to 31st, the Hoosier Dome transformed into Pokémon's Coliseum. Exhausted frontrunners converge, world's points hanging by threads, as spring's fury peaks in Midwest heartland. Mid-season twists reach fever pitch. Final tweaks to regulation G cement paradox supremacy, mirroring Scarlet Epilogue's time tiers, where past and future collide. Meta-evolutions predicted months ago manifest, roaring moon packs shredding fields, Diplin Evos surprising with poison twists. Indie darling, teen prodigy Liam Hart seals the US sweep with a flawless Flutter main run, his post-win analysis crediting Orlando's format shifts for honing his edge. The revelations here seal the chapter's intrigue. Indianapolis distribution spotlight Okidogi, its noble scars evoking Paldea's loyal 3, with a special nature unlocking Violet's hidden mochi pouch dialogues. Cross-game bridges solidify. Players report Okidogi triggering Arceus-era flashbacks, whispering of Paldea's creators as Hisuian descendants. You're piecing it together now, aren't you? Event Pokémon as narrative keys, regionals as lore amplifiers, turning competitive grind into epic tapestry. This American onslaught reshapes everything. Houston's bold starts, Orlando's twists, LA's glamour clashes, Indy's epic closes form not just a gauntlet, but a proving ground where meta evolves in lockstep with Scarlet and Violet's epilogues. Trainers emerge transformed, decks revolutionized by Paradox might, predictions vindicated as walking wake lineages dominate leaderboards. Yet beneath the battles, those hidden distributions pulse with purpose, fateful encounters bridging Paldea's fractured time to Galar's giants and Hisui's ancients. You feel the pull, the sense that Game Freak orchestrates a grand convergence, where every regional victory echoes eternal legends. Let's linger on the human stories that make this onslaught unforgettable. In Houston, that Texas rookie's Sandy Shocks upset wasn't luck. It was months of grinding Tira raids, mirroring Paldea's treasure hunts, her deck's electric surges evoking the region's storm-swept mesas. Orlando's Maria, fueled by hometown pride. Layered Tinkerton with epilogue-inspired hammers, turning convention halls into her personal forge. LA's Alex Rivera blended Hollywood flair with gouging fire's primal roars. His victory lap dissecting terrestrialization angles pulled from Violet's zero-hour visions. And Liam in Indy, his Fluttermane ghosted foes with ghostly precision. A meta-evolution born from mid-season whispers, his family cheering from the stands as world's dreams ignited. These aren't isolated wins, they're symphonies in the larger score. Mid-season twists, from nerfed Ogerpon to empowered paradoxes, predict a worlds field where Scarlet and Violet epilogues dictate dominance. Imagine the press conferences, organisers coyly nodding to time-displaced synergies, fueling fan theories of lore-deep mechanics. Event distributions amplify it all. Each shiny, mythical, a lore bomb. Mimikyu's haunted disguise in Houston links to Paldea's ghost towers. Petulant's Peach in Orlando ferments Hisuian grudges. Chi Yu's flames in LA scorch ruinous origins. Okidogi's scars in Indy bind loyal betrayals across games. Cross-narrative bridges emerge, suggesting Pokémon's world as a continuum. Epilogues as hinges swinging open multiversal doors. You can't look away now, can you? The emotional highs, the roar of crowds as Houston underdogs topple giants, Orlando locals claim thrones, LA stars dazzle under spotlights, indie heroes etch legacies. The lows hit too. Heartbreaking concession stands where dreams defer, yet resolve hardens for the next clash. This gauntlet forges not just champions, but lore enthusiasts like you, sensing patterns in the chaos. Paradox Pokémon rise as epilogue harbingers. Their time-warped powers, forecasting next-gen shifts, Switch successor rumors, amplifying the hype. Dive deeper into the meta predictions that kept analysts buzzing. Houston spotted Walking Wake's surge early, its water dragon type encountering Seattle's fire-heavy fields. Orlando's Diplin Evo, buffed mid-season, poisoned paths to victory, tying to Scarlet's Orchard enigmas. LA unleashed Iron Tread's speed demons. Violet's future tech made manifest. Indy crowned Roaring Moon's lunar howls, epilogue rifts birthing new kings. Each twist a payoff, validating those spring forecasts, setting a template for worlds where Paldea's ghosts haunt every matchup. And the lore whispers, they crescendo here. Fateful encounters in distributions aren't fluff, they're coded messages. Activate a Houston Mimikyu in Paldea, and it haunts specific ruins. Murmuring of unseen architects from Chapter 6's myths. Orlando's petulant ferments crossovers with legends, bridges we glimpsed in early 2026 kicks. LA's Chi-Yu ignites shrine chains, linking to Gala's Eternals. Indy's Okidogi rallies digital packs, echoing Hishuian clans. You're uncovering Game Freak's master plan, regionals as lore delivery systems, blending competition with sleepy revelations that linger in your dreams. As this grueling US gauntlet fades into memory, its scars and triumphs propel us forward, the true colossus looming on the horizon. Worlds 2026 beckons, where these American titans collide with global elites in a spectacle that will redefine Pokémon forever. What secrets will it unleash? Stay with me. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. August 28th to 30, 2026. That's when the Pokémon World Championships descend upon a mystery host city, drawing what experts are already calling the largest crowds in tournament history. You've just survived the brutal American onslaught, Houston's sweltering showdowns, Orlando's electric underdog surges, LA's star-studded spectacles, and Indianapolis's nail-biting finales. Those regionals didn't just crown champions, they forged the elite qualifiers who will now converge for the ultimate apex. But what makes this Worlds different? Why are whispers in the community buzzing about stakes that could redefine everything? Picture the build-up. After May's Indianapolis climax, the summer stretches out like a tense countdown. No more regionals to scatter the focus. Every top trainer, every Scarlet and Violet metamaster turns their eyes to this hidden venue. The Pokémon Company has kept the host city under wraps longer than usual, fueling speculation from Tokyo's neon arenas to Europe's grand colosseums. Could it be a returning favourite like Honolulu, evoking those balmy Hawaiian vibes from past worlds? Or a bold new choice, maybe Anaheim's convention sprawl or even a European pivot to shake things up? Whatever the reveal, one thing's certain, capacity will be tested. Past events like 2025's August Gathering in Honolulu pulled in over 20 Yozerd spectators across divisions. For 2026, with Scarlet and Violet's player base still exploding and Pokémon Go's global reach pulling in casual fans, we're forecasting crowds swelling past 30, Harid. Vendors will hustle raid passes and merch lines will snake for blocks. You can almost hear the roar now, can't you? That collective gasp when the finals bracket drops. But it's not just numbers. The stakes, historic. This Worlds caps a year where regionals evolve the meta in real time. Remember Merida's explosive debuts in January, Toronto's format shake-ups, Sydney and Santiago's international fireworks? By the time Seattle and the US gauntlet hit, we saw regulation tweaks favouring Paradox Pokémon, like Iron Valiant, and Walking Wake dominating teams. Qualifiers emerge hardened, carrying grudge matches from those circuits. The VGC division alone promises showdowns between North American dynasties and oceanic upstarts. Prize pools? Expect them to eclipse 2025's $1 million marks, with exclusive invitations to developer events on the line. And don't overlook the side circuits, TCG Masters with Radiant Ace specs flipping boards, Pokémon Go's PvP leagues clashing in urban parks. One wrong switch, one misplayed terrain, and a legacy crumbles. You feel that pressure, right? The weight of a generation watching. What elevates this to legendary status, though, are the forecasted game updates, timed perfectly for the hype. The Pokémon Company loves syncing patches with majors, and 2026 Worlds screams opportunity. Imagine logging in mid-August to Scarlet and Violet's latest seasonal refresh. Ranked battles, Season 35 or beyond, but laced with lore drops that hit different. Paldean lore, already a tapestry of ancient treasures and futuristic rifts from the Scarlet and Violet base games, gets amplified. Those Area Zero expeditions, they hinted at multiverse cracks where past legends bleed into the present. Remember the epilogue's whispers of Professor Sada and Turo's time-warping experiments? Updates could expand that, introducing paradox variants, not just as battle fodder, but as keys to narrative paradoxes. Think about it. What if a patch unlocks hidden dialogues in the Great Crater, revealing how Paldea's terrestrial phenomenon isn't isolated, it's a multiverse anchor? Iron leaves from the distant past, roaring moon from primordial depths, clashing with arrivals from other worlds. Community data miners are already piecing together strings from the Indigo Disc DLC, references to dimensional veils thinning, tying back to Legends, Arceus's spacetime distortions. A world's timed update might deploy event distributions, fateful encounters with shiny paradox Pokémon, their hidden abilities pulsing with lore flavor text like Bearer of Contradictory Truths. You'd battle in raids against a mega-evolved Koraidon or Miraidon, unlocking cutscenes where Nimona or Arven glimpses alternate timelines. How does this reshape your playthrough? Suddenly, your Paldea save file isn't just a nostalgia trip, it's a portal to franchise-spanning mysteries. Stakes rise because top players adapt first. These updates could ban or buff entire archetypes right before Worlds, forcing last-second deck rebuilds. You might wonder, why Paldea specifically? It's no accident. Scarlet and Violet's story wasn't a clean arc. It left paradoxes dangling. The treasure hunt for ancient kings, Styler and Isa, the futuristic AI gone rogue. Those threads scream multiverse setup. Tie it to broader lore. Hisui's ancient calamities in Legends, Arceus mirroring Paldea's rifts, or even Unova's DNA splicing experiments echoing Terrestrialization's crystal mutations. A forecasted update could bridge them explicitly. Picture a new raid boss, a converged form fusing Ogerpon's masks with Petruant's toxic Mochi, from the Teal Mask and Mochi Mayhem epilogue. Its defeat spills lore logs. Realities overlap where the strong devour the weak, across voids. Trainers at Worlds wouldn't just compete, they'd decode these for meta edges, like new held items stabilizing paradox teams against fairy weaknesses. And here's where it gets prophetic. As Worlds 2026 unfolds, in that mystery city, under spotlights hotter than a flamethrower, an ultimate revelation looms. A new era Pokémon emerges, not a mere legendary, but a timeline reshaper. We've seen the signs building. Paldean paradoxes were the appetizer. This is the main course. Speculation points to a being born from multiverse convergence, perhaps a dual-type colossus embodying creation and destruction. Like an alpha deity fusing Eternatus's energy with Palkia's spatial dominion. Its emergence tied directly to Worlds hype. Imagine the final screen glitching mid-broadcast, official channels dropping a teaser trailer, silhouettes of fractured worlds aligning, a cry that rattles speakers worldwide. This Pokémon doesn't just join the decks, it rewrites the canon. Scarlet and Violet's epilogues hinted at the one who balances all eras. What if it's the key to reconciling Gen 1's Kanto purity with Gen 9's chaos? Unlocking a unified Pokémon world history? Feel the chill of that possibility. Franchises evolve, but rarely with such seismic shifts. Past worlds birthed stars like Wolf Glick or Siegen Park, but 2026 could birth a lore icon. Crowds chanting as the champion summons it in an exhibition match, record footage going viral, fan art exploding, theories flooding forums. Your journey through 2026's circuit, it culminates here, where competitive glory meets narrative destiny. The Mystery City becomes ground zero, historic stakes etching names into eternity. But why stop at speculation? Let's dive deeper into how these updates play out. Seasonal content in Scarlet and Violet has been masterful, terror raid dens pulsing with weekly bosses, mass outbreaks, spawning paradox herds across Paldea. A Worlds patch might globalize that, letting you chain outbreaks of iron treads stampeding through Messagoza, dropping clues via overworld echoes, ghostly trainer NPCs reciting tales of visitors from impossible futures. You'd grind these for Ivy perfect teams, but the real prize? Lore Codex entries expanding on the Paradox Institute's forbidden research. Professor Turo's logs could reveal multiverse coordinates, pinpointing arrivals like Screamtail from a feline-dominated era, or Slitherwing from insect overlords. Each one a puzzle piece, challenging you. Are these invaders, refugees, or harbingers? Community impact? Massive. Discord servers light up with Paradox Dex runs. YouTubers dissecting flavor text for hidden ciphers. The Veil phrase where stars align inversely. That's not just battle fluff. It's a prophecy tying to world's August dates under Leo's constellation. Stakes historic because winners get first dibs. Exclusive shiny hunts or beta access to whatever Legends sequel brews. Record crowds mean unprecedented hype. Live streams peaking at millions. Cosplayers as Ogerpon, clashing with Miraidon riders in the streets. Now amplify that with TCG synergy. World's card hall buzzes with Paldea packs, Paradox Ultra's warping formats. A new era Pokémon promo. Imagine its card art. A radiant behemoth shattering dimensional panes. Ability, timeline rewrite, shuffling opponent decks. Players pivot metas overnight, just as VGC does. Pokémon Go mirrors it too. Go Fest tie-ins spawning Paradox raids worldwide. AR photos capturing multiverse snapshots for bonuses. You sense the convergence, don't you? After the US Gauntlet survivors claim their world spots, August 28th dawns with announcements. Mystery City revealed, gasps ripple, game updates deploy, lore paradoxes unfold. Then the prophecy, that new era Pokémon steps forth, reshaping timelines forever. Franchises don't just grow, they transcend. 2026. Worlds isn't an event, it's a turning point. Yet even as the apex beckons, whispers of digital horizons stir. What lies beyond these battles, in the code and consoles shaping tomorrow's quests? That's for Game Frontiers, where predictions turn electric and your next adventure ignites. Stay with me. As the echoes of those worlds' 2026 battles fade into anticipation, have you ever wondered what lies just beyond the edge of Paldea's horizon? The Pokémon world isn't standing still. It's hurtling toward a frontier where games redefine reality itself. In 2026, we're on the cusp of Generation 10, teased not by official announcements, but by the dangling threads left unresolved in Scarlet and Violet's sprawling narrative. Think back to those final moments in Paldea. The ancient kings, the Paradox Pokémon ripping through time, the shimmering treasures of Area Zero. They all pointed to something bigger, didn't they? Nemona's unyielding rivalry, Arven's heartfelt quest for his father, Penny's quiet rebellion with Team Star. These weren't just side stories, they were breadcrumbs leading to a multiverse unravelling at the seams. What if Gen 10 picks up right there in 2026, with a new region born from those rifts. Imagine a land fractured by temporal storms, where Caridon and Miraidon clash not as allies, but as harbingers of clashing eras. Leaks from 2025's data mines, those subtle code snippets in Scarlet and Violet's epilogue patches, hinted at eternal cycles and forgotten progenitors. You can feel it building, can't you? A generation where your choices in Paldea echo forward, reshaping histories you thought were set in stone. But it's more than story beats. Gen 10 could finally deliver on the hardware promises we've been chasing since the Switch's launch. Picture this: Nintendo's next console, rumoured for a mid-2026 reveal, packing ray tracing and seamless open-world transitions that make Paldea's glitches feel like child's play. No more loading screens jarring you out of the immersion. Instead, vast biomes that shift dynamically, deserts blooming into paradises under legendary influences, oceans parting to reveal sunken civilizations tied to the Sea of Clouds, from Legends, Arceus, and the battles, open field encounters evolve into true 3D spectacles, with Pokémon leaping across layered environments, using the terrain like never before. Terra types get a paradox twist, fusing with terrestrial phenomena to create hybrid forms that bend physics. Your Sprigatito starter might evolve not just once, but branch into temporal variants, echoing the unresolved lore of Petulant's Pacha Berry Curse from the Mochi Mayhem epilogue. You know those moments in Scarlet and Violet where the world felt alive, NPCs wandering with purpose, but the story cut off just as the mysteries deepened? Gen 10 fixes that. It dives into the core of Pokemon's cosmology, the creation trio, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, now intertwined with Paldea's immortals. What unresolved thread from 2025's Indigo Disc DLC screams loudest? The Loyal Three's betrayal, Ogerpon's masked fury, tied to ancient heroes who weren't heroes at all. Speculation runs wild, a region inspired by feudal Japan or lost Incan empires, where Kitsune-like legendaries guard portals to Hisui. And you, the trainer, aren't just collecting, you're unravelling a conspiracy spanning generations, with Gyata's council revealed as puppets in a grander scheme. By summer 2026 post-Worlds, expect the first trailer dropping like a master ball, confirming these teases and sending the fandom into overdrive, shifting gears to the streets and parks where you play every day. Pokémon Go's 2026 roadmap is set to shatter the boundaries between your world and theirs. Niantic's been dropping hints since late 2025's GU Fest recaps, promising AR evolutions that don't just look real, they feel mythical. Remember the AR glasses prototypes teased at their developer conference? By 2026, they're mainstream, syncing with your phone for overlays that merge real landmarks with Pokémon realms. Imagine spinning a Pokestop at the Eiffel Tower, only for a rift to open, summoning Eternatus in full scale, its dynergy pulsing against the actual sunset. The roadmap predicts seasonal arcs building to this: Q1 raids featuring Paradox variants from Scarlet and Violet, Q2 introducing mythical crossovers like a real-world Celebi migration tied to time-displaced events. What makes this revolutionary? It's the merging of realms. Pokémon Go 2026 evolves AR raids into mythical incursions, where defeating a boss doesn't just yield candy, it temporarily alters your surroundings. Catch a shiny shaman? Your local park sprouts Grassidea flowers for a week, visible to all players. Community days expand into realm days, blending real-world history with lore. Picture July 4th in the US, fireworks raids summoning Ho-Oh, its rainbow bridging actual skies with digital flames. And the social layer? Guild systems evolve from Pokémon Home, letting you form cross-game parties that pull Scarlet and Violet teams into Go battles. Unresolved 2025 threads, like the Festival of Lights Zarude distributions, feed into this, hinting at primal evolutions for urban legendaries. Pikachu variants haunting neon-lit cities, echoing Paldea's electric ghosts. But hardware leaps are the true game changer here, propelling us into immersive lore dives we've only dreamed of. By 2026, expect widespread adoption of haptic feedback suits and neural-linked controllers, prototypes already circulating in esports circles post-2025 worlds. These aren't gimmicks, they're portals to Pokemon's core mysteries. Slip into a dive, and you're not watching Arven's sandwich quests. You're tasting the Herba Mystica, feeling the Paradox heat sear your palms as you grip Iron Valiant's blades. Hardware like the rumoured Pokevisor, a lightweight AR headset with olfactory emitters, lets you smell the ozone of a Zapdos storm or the earthy damp of a Veritian glade. Envision Gen 10's launch bundle, a console with built-in biofeedback, monitoring your heart rate to dynamically adjust battle intensity. Tense up during a gym siege, the game ramps up with feverish drum beats from Paldean folklore. Relax into exploration mode, and it whispers forgotten legends through binaural audio, pulling you deeper into the lore. Those Scarlet and Violet threads, Area Zero's AI overlords, the Professor's descent into madness, become playable flashbacks, with hardware simulating zero-gravity falls or temporal dissonance that leaves you dizzy in the best way. Pokémon Go integrates too, with beacon tech turning your living room into a temporary gym, mythical Pokémon materializing via projected holograms that respond to your movements. You can sense the shift, right? From 2025's iterative raids and ranked seasons to 2026's holistic fusion. Take the unresolved Scarlet and Violet epilogues, the treasure hunt concluding with a nod to Beyond the Horizon, perfectly priming Gen 10's speculative open. Rumours swirl of a dual-release strategy, core titles on next-gen hardware, a Go exclusive mythical arc bridging them. February's Sydney regionals might even tease it with promo distributions of Paradox babies, natures locked to fateful encounters, hinting at narrative ties. Delve deeper into the predictions. Pokémon Go's Q3 2026 roadmap leaks gleaned from data-mined APK files forecast Eternal Realms events, where AR layers stack mythical overlays on real maps. Walk through a forest, and Mewtwo's silhouette flickers in the canopy, challenging you to a mind-bending duel that uses your phone's gyroscope for telekinetic dodges. Hardware leaps enable scent and temperature shifts. Battling Kyogre chills the air around you, water droplets condensing on your screen. For lore hounds, this means reliving Hisui's calamities in your backyard, with Arceus avatars narrating the Pokémon world's genesis, voice modulated to echo ancient tongues. And Gen 10, it's poised to tackle the big questions Scarlet and Violet left hanging. Why do Paradox Pokémon exist? Are they echoes of Dialga's failures? The 2025 Mochi epilogue introduced Petulant's curse spreading via trade networks. Gen 10 could weaponize that, with a plague mechanic forcing quarantined regions and moral choices. Your rival, perhaps a grown Nemona, hardened by world's glory, defects to uncover the truth. Hardware immersion peaks here, full-body tracking for open-world traversal, where scaling cliffs in the new region strains your real muscles via resistance bands synced to the game. Communities are buzzing already. Forums dissect 2025's Terra Raid logs, spotting anomalies in drop rates for items named after frontier keys. It's no coincidence, 2026's game frontiers hinge on these. Pokémon Go's roadmap doubles down, with AR glasses mandating for elite events like world side quests, where scanning real-world fossils summons roaring legendaries. Feel the ground tremble as Regirock emerges from your sidewalk crack, lore dumps revealing ties to Galar's Dynamax anomalies, looping back to Paldea's infinity energy. You're right there with me, piecing it together. The hardware isn't just tech, It's the key unlocking Pokemon's soul, the eternal struggle between trainer and world, human and beast, reality and myth. From Paldea's unresolved rifts to Gyo's mythical invasions, 2026 redefines play. Speculative teases become reality. Threads weave into tapestries, and mysteries beckon like never before. But as these frontiers expand, they lead straight to the heart of it all. Up next, eternal lore awaits, where the Pokémon world's deepest secrets finally surface. Stay with me, because what unfolds there will redefine everything you thought you knew. From the very first game in 1996, Pokémon has woven a saga that spans 9 generations, each region a new thread in an unbreakable tapestry of myth and destiny. You know those game frontiers we just explored, the teases of Gen 10 pulling from Scarlet and Violet's loose ends. They don't exist in a vacuum. They pulse with the eternal lore that's been building since Kanto, a grand narrative where every legendary Pokémon isn't just a powerhouse in battle, but a piece of a cosmic puzzle crafted by the creator gods themselves. Let's start at the genesis, right there in Kanto. Mew, the ancestor of all Pokémon, hides in the shadows of Cinnabar Island's mansion, its DNA twisted by human ambition into Mewtwo, the ultimate betrayal of nature's balance. But it's not just about creation gone wrong. Towering over it all are the 3 legendary birds: Articuno, the chill of eternal winter; Zapdos, the storm's fury; and Moltres, the blaze of rebirth. They guard the seas, skies and volcanoes, primal forces awakened by a sleeping Mewtwo's rage. And then there's Mewtwo's clone army, a mirror to humanity's hubris. You feel that chill yet? This isn't random. It's the foundation, where the world's life force first stirs, hinting at forces beyond trainers' Pokeballs. Fast forward to Johto, the 2nd generation, where Kanto's echoes meet ancient reverence. The burned tower in Ecruteak City calls forth Ho-Oh, the rainbow phoenix rising from ashes, symbol of joy and purification. Opposite it, deep in the Whirl Islands, Lugia commands the roaring seas, a guardian of balance against human folly. These two aren't isolated, they're tied to the towers of old, built to honor Pokémon long before gyms or leagues existed. The legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, Suicune, roam as spirits reborn from that same fire, sprinting across plains, mountains and waters. Celebi flits through time from Ilex Forest, a nod to the loops yet to come. Johto whispers that history isn't linear. It's a cycle, trainers like you stepping into roles foretold by these immortals. By Hoenn's 3rd generation, the stakes explode into continental cataclysm. Groudon, the land Leviathan, expands the earth with primal fury, while Kyogre floods the world in endless rain. Rayquaza, high in the ozone layer, descends as the Sky Dragon to enforce equilibrium, devouring meteors that threaten Sky Pillar. Their orbs pulse with red and blue energy, ancient relics from a time when continents were forged. Then the Regis awaken, Regirock, Regis, Registeel, golems sealed in ruins, puzzles guarding forgotten tech, Latios and Latias dart as Eon Guardians, psychics who shield the pure-hearted. Hoenn reveals the creator's design. Land, sea, sky in eternal tension. Trainers mere catalysts in a godly standoff. Can you picture it? That primal roar shaking the seafloor. Sinnoh's 4th generation dives straight into the divine heart of it all. Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, birthed the universe from its plates in Spear Pillar, shattering dimensions to create Dialga, who bends time itself, Palkia, shaper of space, and Giratina, exiled to the distortion world for its wrath. The Lake Guardians Uxie for knowledge, Mesprit for emotion, Ourself for willpower, hold the spark of human souls. Heatran forges magma in Stark Mountain. Regigigas hauls continents like toys. Cresselia battles nightmares with Lunatone's light, while Shaman shifts forms with Grace Pollen. This is no mere region. Sinnoh unveils the origin myth. Arceus isn't just top of the Pokédex, it's the architect, plates flipping to summon creation or apocalypse. Your journey there feels like touching infinity. Unova's 5th generation fractures that unity into ideals and truths. Reshiram, the vast white dragon of truth, scorches with blue flames. Zekrom, the deep black dragon of ideals, thunders with electric might. They were once one dragon, split by twin brothers' war. Their castle ruins a testament to division. Kyrem, the boundary dragon, lurks in giant chasm, absorbing them into complete form savagery. The swords of justice, Terrakion, Veritzian, Cobalion, charge against oppression, while the forces of nature, Landorus, Enamorus, Thundurus, Tornadus, unleash weather Armageddon. Victini grants victories Vi, Keldeo trains for valor. Unova asks you, what do you fight for in a world split by conviction? Carlos in the 6th generation blooms with life and death entwined. Xerneas, the life-giver, horns aglow with fairy radiance, clashes with Eviltal, the destruction bringer, wings sapping vitality into cocoons. Their eternal dance powers Ace's the ultimate weapon, a war machine from a 1,000-year conflict. Diancie crystallizes Mega Evolution's core, Hooper twists dimensions through hoops, Volcanion steams forbidden fury. Zygarde slumbers as the Order Pokémon, cells reforming to 50% or complete form to purge imbalance. Carlos layers beauty over horror, where beauty's bloom hides the shadow of extinction. You sense the pattern now, don't you? Each duo or trio echoes the creator's balance. Alola's 7th sun-soaked islands twist myth into cosmic travel. Solgaleo rides dawn from ultra-space as the Sun Lion. Lunala eclipses as the Moon Dragon. Guardians against wormholes. Necrozma, the prism Pokémon, devours light into ultra forms, blackening the sun in a bid for prism power. The Tarpus, Ku, Lele, Fini, Bulu bless islands with spark, mist, cascade and grass. Their Z moves channeling kahuna spirits. Type, Newell evolves to Silverly through memory, a synthetic savior. Marshadow lurks in shadows. Zeraora zips with plasma fists. Alola fractures reality, portals ripping to Megalo Tower, where trainers confront otherworldly threats. Gala's 8th chapter crowns it with heroes and doomsday. Zacian and Zamazenta, the warrior fairies, wield rusted swords and shields against the darkest day. Eternatus poisoning skies with infinite energy from a meteor crash. Kubfu trains in towers to Urshifu forms, single or rapid strike. Regieleki and Regidrago electrify and dragonize the ancient trio reborn. Glastria and Spectria pull ghostly steeds. Calyrex unites Crown Tundra with psychic rains. Zarudi swings jungle kingship. Gala's crowning is crowning glory and peril. Stadiums built on heroic bones. Now Paldea, the 9th generation's time-warped finale in Scarlet and Violet. Terrapagos, the turtle at Area Zero's heart, warps reality with terrestrial energy. Crystals blooming from its shell to rewrite type and time. Ogapon masks loyalty through Kitsune legend. Petulance Mochi poisons obedience in the Loyal Three's betrayal. The treasures of ruin, Okidogi, Munkidori, Fezandipiti, Sinistra, curse Paldean kings with ogre might, poison, feud and tea ruin. Miraidon and Koraidon cycle through futures and pasts on futuristic bikes. Legends Arceus callbacks abound, with Peony's obsidian quest and interdreaming echoes. Paldea's paradox Pokémon clash eras, Roaring Moon with Salamence wings, Iron Valiant fusing Gardevoir and Gallade. Time folds here, ancient kings and professors unraveling the 0 point. But here's the convergence that ties it all. Those creator gods' grand design. Arceus births Dialga and Palkia, whose time-space ripples spawn every region's myths. Rayquaza mirrors Lugia's skies. Ho-Oh's rainbows echo Solgaleo's dawn. Giratina's distortion leaks to ultra space and Paldea's 0. The Regis migrate across continents, pulled by Regigigas. Truth and ideals foreshadow Terrastol's facets. Life-death cycles, from Xerneas Eviltal, pulse in Eternatus's energy, and Terrapagos's crystal core. Every saga converges at creation's loom, where Muse DNA sparks all. Arceus oversees the weave. Scarlet and Violet's epilogue seals it. DLC threads looping back to Kanto vibes. Ogerpon's masks hiding multiverse keys. The gods didn't scatter legends randomly. They placed them as beacons. Trainers like you, the sparks igniting divine recursion. Feel that sleepy pull now? As events like Worlds 2026 loom, with their meta shifts and AR merges, consider your own trainer legacy. You, wandering Kanto's roots, Johto's shrines, Paldea's starry mesas. Your captures, evolutions, badges echo infinitely. Ash Ketchum chased Ho-Oh from episode 1, his cap a symbol across anime sagas, mirroring your save files. Red summits met Silver eternally. Cynthia ponders ruins, N questions harmony, Nimona battles for bonds. These aren't endings, they're echoes in infinite possibilities. What if your Pikachu sparked a new Mew? Your Rayquaza halted a Kyogre flood in some parallel. Legacies ripple through time warps, sleepy dreams where you befriend Arceus under Paldean auroras. Your team the final convergence. In quiet nights like this, as 2025's raids fade and 2026's regionals charge ahead, from Merida's sands to Seattle's tech, Houston's heat, Orlando's vibes, LA's glamour, Indianapolis heartland. The lore cradles it all. Pokémon Go's festivals blend real streets with mythical incursions. Go Fest crowds summoning legends anew. But beneath battles, the tapestry endures. Trainer dreams fuel the gods' design, generational sagas looping forever. You've traced it from Kanto's spark to Paldea's twist. Now what dreams await in the possibilities unfolding ahead? That brings us gently to dreams of tomorrow, where those infinite echoes might just reshape everything you thought you knew. Stay with me. In 2027, Pokémon transcends gaming to become a sprawling media empire, where your Scarlet and Violet save file syncs directly with an anime episode unfolding on your screen, and live events pull you into battles against holographic legendaries right in your hometown stadium. You've journeyed through the eternal lore with me, from Kantos' first sparks of adventure to Paldea's twisted timelines, where Arceus' grand design finally snaps into focus. But what if that design isn't just history? What if it's the blueprint for tomorrow? A unified world where every Pokémon story breathes as one. Empire taking shape, starting with the momentum from 2026 Worlds in late August. Those record crowds in the mystery host city won't fade. They'll fuel something massive. By 2027, expect annual global spectacles that dwarf even the Pokémon Go Fest evolutions. Imagine a World Championships hybrid, not just competitive play, but a live arena where Scarlet and Violet champions face off against Pokémon Go raid bosses projected in augmented reality, with anime voice actors narrating the clashes in real time. The regional circuit explodes too. Think Houston and Orlando regionals expanding into week-long festivals, blending TCG duels, VREC tournaments, and Pokémon Unite showdowns under one roof. All streamed to billions. You feel that pull already, don't you? The way Pokémon Go's 2026 roadmap hinted at AR merges between real streets and mythical realms. By 2027, that scales up. Nintendo announces Pokémon Live, a platform where your Nintendo Switch links to mobile AR glasses, letting you catch event-exclusive Pokémon during live broadcasts of new anime seasons. No more siloed experiences. Your Paldean team from Scarlet and Violet carries over into a Gen 10 open-world epic, where unresolved threads, like the Paradox Pokémon, invade regions from every generation. Kanto's Mewtwo clashes with Paldea's Iron Valiant in a multiverse rift, all while you're watching the anime adaptation premiere at a Tokyo Dome event, tickets selling out in seconds. This unification isn't random, It's the culmination of decades of subtle hints. Remember the fateful encounters from 2025 distributions? Those Pokémon with perfect IVs tied to legendary backstories? They're the keys. In 2027 media drops, Game Freak reveals how they foreshadow the grand mythology. Arceus, the creator god, didn't just shape worlds, it wove them together through chosen trainers like you. Every era connects. Johto's legendary beasts guard time streams that feed into Paldea's terrestrial anomalies. Hoenn's primal forces awaken in Sinnoh's creation myths, explaining Dialga and Palkia's role in stabilizing the multiverse paradoxes we saw teased in 2025 raids. Let's dive deeper into that mythology, because these final revelations change how you see every Pokémon you've ever caught. Take the Gen 1 origins. Red's triumph over Mewtwo wasn't isolated. It echoed in Unova's ideals versus truth's debate, where Reshiram and Zekrom represent the split paths Arceus allowed for human growth. Fast forward to Kalos, where AZ's eternal life machine accidentally pierced dimensions, sending ripples to Galar's darkest day and Paldea's Area Zero. By 2027, a massive lore book drops, Pokémon Chronicles, The Eternal Cycle, detailing how Eternatus energy from Galar fueled the black hole in Scarlet and Violet, pulling in ancient Kalos tech. You won't believe the payoff. In the anime's 2027 arc, Ash, or his successor, discovers the origin thread, a metaphysical link binding all legendaries. Rayquaza from Hoenn mediates sky conflicts, but it's revealed as Arceus' enforcer against interdimensional threats. Lugia calms the seas across regions, tying into Kyogre's primal rage. These aren't separate tales, they're chapters in one epic. Live events bring it home. At the 2027 Worlds Qualifier in Sydney, fans vote on story branches via app, influencing the anime's plot. Win a battle, and your Pokémon appears as an NPC in the next game update. But this empire thrives on community, your story's woven in. Pokémon Go's 2026 Community Days evolve into global Trainer Tales live streams, where real players' encounters with mythicals like Zerude become canon fodder for anime episodes. Imagine logging in during a 2027 Fashion Week raid, catching a shiny Petulant whose lore ties back to Kitakami's Loyal 3, resolving Gen 9's unresolved festivals. The TCG mirrors this, with sets like Mythos United, fusing arts from every generation, Pikachu alongside Miraidon, battling under unified rules that incorporate terrestrialization. Feel the excitement building? By 2028, it's even bolder. A Pokémon theme park in Paldea opens, with rides simulating time warps from Hisui to modern Unova. Anime series go episodic transmedia. 1 week, you're playing a Scarlet DLC epilogue on Switch. The next, it's voiced in a Netflix special with live-action trainers. From Gyo events, competitive scenes unify too. VGC, TCG, and Gyo battles count toward a single trainer prestige score, unlocking cross-game rewards. The 2027 Worlds, held in a rotating mega venue, perhaps Europe's first, with drone light shows recreating legendary summonings. These revelations tie every era tight. Gen 2's Celebi time travel? It's the mechanism Arceus uses to loop unresolved plots. Why did Mew escape in the first movie? To seed the cloning tech that birthed Mewtwo, which then influenced Morimoto's experiments in Paldea. The creator gods, Arceus, Giratina, Dialga, Palkia, form a quartet council, with Ubers like Necrozma representing shadowed rebellions. Every box art legendary? A pillar in this cosmology. Solgaleo and Lunala gatekeep ultraspace, preventing the Black Hovers from Gala's Crown Tundra from spilling into Kitakami. You're part of it now. That team you've built over years, grinding 2025 Terra raids and 2026 regionals, it's primed for this future. Envision 2027's Gen 10 launch, an MMO hybrid where Paldea's Academy students mentor Kanto newbies in shared servers. Anime crossovers feature your in-game avatar reacting to live events, like the Indianapolis regional upset, where a wild card takes the crown. The mythology peaks in a finale event. Arceus manifests in AR worldwide, challenging top trainers to a unity battle streamed across all platforms. As these dreams solidify, notice how they mirror your own path. From that first Kanto badge to mastering Paldea's Elite Four, every catch, every loss echoes the grand design. The Empire isn't just corporate, it's a living mythology, inviting you deeper. 2027's unified front means no more waiting between releases. Games feed anime, events spawn manga, all lore-locked. But here's the revelation that binds it all. The Pokémon world isn't linear time. It's a dream woven by Arceus, with you as the dreamer. Generations cycle like seasons, each building the next. Kanto's fire fades into Johto's harmony, igniting Hoenn's oceans until Paldea's stars realign everything. In 2027 media, this drops as the Dream Codex, a holographic exhibit touring with worlds, proving every legendary sighting, from Go raids to anime films, was a glimpse of your potential journey. Lean into that wonder. The Empire rises on events like LA's May 2027 regional, now a media nexus with anime panels revealing Codex chapters. Toronto's January kickoff, a lore deep dive convention. By summer, Worlds crowns not just champions, but myth makers whose stories shape Gen 11 teases. You've uncovered it with me, the threads pulling tight into one tapestry. As the stars of Paldea wheel overhead, feel the weight lift. This unified tomorrow, with its blended realms and eternal myths, rests ready for you. Let your eyelids grow heavy, your breath slow and deep. Dream now of your Pokémon journey unfolding in that 2027 Empire. Battles won under unified lights, legends whispering your name. Rest in Pokémon peace, trainer. The adventure sleeps, but it never truly ends. Sweet dreams await just beyond this gentle close. What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.